Coming up.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids.
Fool, I pity. I kill him, but first I pity him.
I just watched him get his ass kicked by Sylvester Stallone because now it's Rocky 4 is on right now, which is my favorite because Ivan Drago. Thank you.
Hulk Hogan's in that too.
Yeah, I forgot that he was in it. He was Thunderlips. Yeah,
Thunderlips. Wow.
Yeah, Thunderlips.
I actually haven't seen a single Rocky film, so
you're missing out.
I know I am. It's blasphemy. I know.
So I had some stuff to bring up tonight.
Okay.
Now I didn't know if you guys had topics too, but I have a few things I wanted to bring up, so I'll ask. Do you guys have topics?
No, I'm good.
No. Okay. So I'm not.
Yeah,
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so still curious with AI. I've been trying to figure out if I can get this thing to crank out crappy what is it? Urban fantasy?
Yeah.
Where I just tell it to like shit this stuff out and see if I can't sell it for quick money.
Mm-hmm.
Since it seems people have no taste and they'll buy this shit. So I need to come up with like a fake name. And I've been figuring out how to program these things.
Yes.
And last night, I thought I failed. I thought I thoroughly failed. I was like, okay, I tried to make this thing work. Technology's not there yet. But then I showed the concept to Kat, and she wants to actually write it.
Yeah. Because the premise that it spat out, I'm like, no, there's something here. I mean, what it gave is not for prime time, but there's something there. So it's basically a teen drama of three girls who all hate each other. It's basically Monster High, only they all hate each other.
No, what I told it, I programmed it last night. I spent a few hours programming it. I programmed the AI to spit out a story where it's the great-granddaughters of Victor Frankenstein, Herbert West, and Dr. Jekyll, all are at the same, are all sharing a dorm at Miskatonic Medical School, or School of Medicine, and decide that they're really sick of all the soy boys and dorks and losers, so they're going to make a better man.
Yes.
And that's what I told it to program. And what it gave back, I'm like, this is shit. You know what? Okay, it was an experiment. Whatever, fuck it. And then I said, "Hey, Kat, look at this garbage."
And again, what it spat out is not for prime time. It definitely isn't. But it's enough of a good concept that it's like, no, I can make it work. So I'm gonna throw my hat in and try writing.
So yeah, I gave her the 100 or 1,500 words that spat out, and I said, "Here, you have fun."
Yep. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna have it that they're frenemies, and that was it Victoria Frankenstein and
Harriet
West are going to have a rivalry to see who could build not only the best man but build him first. And poor little Josie Jekyll is gonna get stuck in the middle.
She's Sailor Mercury.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Chicken Sith's in the chat.
Oh, well, dude, I sent you an invite. Join us, man. So I hear Ralph has utterly discussed it already.
Nah, I'm good.
Be one of us.
And I also, we were messing with it the other night. Remember on the show? And
Yeah.
it gave us that hilarious story. we both kind of figured out the most fun was just to abuse the shit out of the machine.
Yeah, we were playing around with it more.
We found that actually the most amusing thing is just to abuse the shit out of it.
And it's maybe it's me just putting, personifying a machine, but it's very cute seeing HAL 9000 blush as you're trying to get him to write porn.
Well, no. The thing is the way this thing works.
It really wouldn't want to do it though. That was the funny thing.
Was that it is essentially taking all the shit that every user is pumping into it and learning from it.
Yeah.
Which means whatever we're putting in is corrupting the shit out of it.
Yes.
And the gag we've been playing, because we're like, fuck it, we're on vacation. Why work, right?
Are you pulling up the story?
I don't think we can read this on air.
I don't think so either.
But do you remember when we did the thing about a year ago where we found all the worst romance erotica we could find and read them on the air?
Yeah.
All the back of the books?
Yeah.
We took one of the ones that we thought was the worst, took the books, put the back of the book description as the scenario, and then just started harassing it.
And well, let's just say it finally culminated in the thing turning certain lady parts into being fit to lay eggs. And,
well, here, read the.
The original.
Yeah, well, this is what we ripped off of Amazon.
Well, first off, I'll read it for those who weren't there. But
yeah, any of you who've listened to the show for more than a year, you've already heard this. But,
do you remember the
caveman alien?
Well, the BBW caveman alien romance novel.
Kinda.
Okay. Being abducted by aliens was never on your bucket list. But I guess the aliens didn't get that memo because one night you were beamed aboard a UFO. It dumped we had to this is going to be confusing because we had to change things into second person.
Yeah, everything had to be changed to second person.
It's
anyway.
not entirely second person.
Oh, well.
So it's a little confusing.
Okay, well, just anything, fix it. Just
okay. You don't feel like hunting it down on Amazon?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, it dumped me and a bunch of other girls on an alien planet, a Jurassic planet, where giant murderous dinosaurs walk around and everything wants to kill you. My only hope of surviving is the first man who I met here. His name is Jackson, and he's an alien and a caveman, as in the hottest super alpha caveman who ever lived. He's big and strong and doesn't talk much, but he saved me from he saved my life many times, and so many times that I've lost count. My insides turn to hot mush whenever he fixes his smoldering eyes on me, and this scandalously sexy and unusually features, and his sensually muscular body is rocking totally, makes me forget about my time and place. There's only one problem. He's holding me ransom. And he wants to repopulate his womanless planet with me.
This is all from an actual back of the book description off of Amazon of a bestseller.
Yeah. So we
didn't make this up.
No, that's actually a book on Amazon. So we fed that into the machine.
And then just started harassing the shit out of it.
And it eventually turned into basically belittling and berating the caveman to strip down to his Levi's underwear. It really did say that. And then constantly screaming at it, fuck me, damn you. And it wouldn't do it.
This may be a new way of life, but the rules are different here. Like any civilized society, and like any civilized society, and Jackson has decided that he gets to pick the sex of all the babies born here, whether you like it or not. You shout, well, I suppose that's reasonable, but tell me, Jackson, just how long is your dick? I want to see it. That's quite rude, said Jackson. Why do you care? You say, well, you're asking me for an intimate favor. You must know that you must know what that request implies. Plus, I'm a big girl and I need a big man. I'm a real size wing. Come on, show me that big monster caveman cock, Jackson. Jackson remains silent.
Oh my God.
And it just proceeds until he finally like fucks you, and then you realize your vaginal walls have been stretched beyond repair and no longer resemble human tissue. Instead, they appear to be some sort of pale gray material. You shudder to think about what will happen if an egg were to pass through the opening.
Oh, God!
And it turns out it's like the AI decided you're going to start laying eggs.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And
It's like, wow.
I do have to say that Kat had the best line though.
Did I?
Yeah.
What did I say? Or what did I give it?
You had it say when he came.
Yeah.
He cries out, "Oh, yabba dabba doo."
Oh jeez.
Oh God, that made me cough.
Sorry.
Oh my
No, that
God.
was beautiful. Are you kidding me?
But yeah, we sat here for the afternoon just abusing the shit out of this description.
And again, it's me personifying. I know it's just a computer program, but damn if I'm envisioning it blushing every time it's like, Jackson is silent. Jackson doesn't say anything. He says that's rude. It's like, wow.
I now want us to do a not safe for work stream with this AI and just do filthy, nasty porn.
Sure, find some more really crappy, like maybe Bigfoot romance novel or dinosaurs, or you remember when we were looking for the stupidest what do they call it? Fantasy erotica?
Romance.
This is just called romance now.
Yeah, it's just romance.
Because remember there was Bigfoot,
romance or erotica. Well, there's subgenres.
and there was what I Have the Alien Overlord's Baby was another one.
Yeah, that's a big series there.
So like the Chuck Tingle books.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the four of us can come up with something.
I think so.
Well, okay, here's the AI writing. The only thing left is Jackson's The only thing left now is Jackson's muscular, hairy legs and his underwear, which look like a pair of tight-fitting blue Speedos.
No. It did not say Speedos when it wrote that. It said tight-fitting blue jeans.
Which we changed to Speedos because it made no sense.
Well, because, it's underwear being tight-fitting blue jeans doesn't make any sense.
Well, what do you think, he asks. He's not smiling anymore. You stare at him, your mouth agape. The alien doesn't even notice. His attention's fixed on your chest. Why so shy, Jackson, you shout, pulling out Jackson's dick and measuring it. You said you wanted a woman that fit your size. That's me. As you can see, my breasts are Godzilla blimps. So how do you suppose the alien says nothing.
Oh God, this is so random, but I forgot. Steve wanted me to ask you, alien, or ask you, Ishi, if Lori Lightfoot was a reptoid.
Reptoids have standards. No. She's from Innsmouth.
Okay, just
whoa, you nailed it too. Shit, that was what we were saying.
Yeah.
She's a fish person.
The Innsmouth look.
She does have the Innsmouth. We've been joking about that for ages.
Yeah.
You've never seen the meme of her with her bug eyes and her mouth open and saying, "I am asking you once again to clean the fish tank."
No, I haven't.
Oh God. Oh, it's great.
Wow.
Yeah, she's not a reptoid. She definitely is from Innsmouth.
No, seriously, Steve and I were talking about you guys today, and then just random, he's like, "Hey, since Ishi's a gray, can you answer the question if Lori Lightfoot's a reptoid or not?" The most random shit out of my husband's mouth. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll ask him tonight."
And the answer is no, she's a fish.
Hillary Clinton's a reptoid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so continue with this. Sorry, that just reminded me.
That Joe Biden is actually a melanin vampire, and that the only reason he's not dead is that at night he goes out and he finds black Democrats and he drains them of their melanin so that he won't die.
I've seen that comic. That comic is great.
Somebody turned that into a comic?
Yes.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Are you talking about G Prime when he did his comic?
I don't know. I don't know who did it. I just happened to see it when I was scrolling through stuff.
Shit, because when he first got elected, that was like a rant that me and who's the guy that does all the political cartoons that's famous now?
That's
It's all-
G Prime, George Alexopoulos.
Yeah, he and I were like ranting on that about how he was secretly a melanin vampire. Did he turn it into a comic?
Yeah,
might have.
it's part of his political cartoons
I
and comic
think-
strips.
Fuck.
Sweet.
He and I were ranting about that at the election. Well,
Oh
I'm
my
glad
God,
he
that's
turned it into a
hysterical.
comic. Good for him.
It's amazing how he went from indie artist to world famous Politico.
Well, he's very clever.
Oh yeah.
Horrible. It's black Republicans he drains. You vote R, you ain't black.
Well, shit, I'm gonna have to ask him for royalty. I mean, I helped him come up with that.
Oh, check the links in the private chat.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
you had a hell of a day, eh?
It's,
Oh my God.
Wow.
Let me share that. That really is the Innsmouth look.
That's kind of creepy, actually. She just needs slightly bigger ears, and there you go.
Okay, so yeah, talk about your hell of a day, and then I'll explain to the audience if they don't know what Innsmouth means.
Oh God, it was. Well, it's just it's foggy as hell, and it's raining, and I got bad lungs anyway, and I've got a blown knee, and my thigh bone's twisted. So I don't. When I go to this, I don't like riding very far in the car because my whole leg ends up hurting. And we drove into town, and we go to Walmart, and we get there, and there are no carts available. And there's like me and this old woman with a walker who looks like she's 9,000 years old, and a dude in uniform with a busted leg. And when we asked, are there any available on the other side? And it's like, no. The guy's like, no. And we waited for like 5-10 minutes and said, fuck it. I went in, just gimping, holding onto a cart. And all through Walmart, all we see are melting people in these carts. Look, and it's so annoying to me. And it just annoys the shit out of me. And then, the ride back, I'm already tired because I walked around Walmart, for like an hour. And, busted leg doesn't feel good. And it just, by the time I got home, I was like, you know what? I've been going since I got up. I'm just blah. But I'm still annoyed at the fact that, the carts are supposed to be for people who are busted, not someone who's too fat and lazy to walk through Walmart leaning on a cart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying because they ruin the carts. They really do. I mean, you get on them and you hit the power, and it makes these squeaky noise, and you can feel that the axle's warped. And it's like, fuck. And man, it's just a personal pet peeve. I mean, I get it that some people can't help their weight, but if you've got an entire shopping cart full of, junk food, and or actually eating junk food while you're driving around getting groceries on this little scooty puff, don't think I'm going to think you're on that scooty puff because you're busted, especially when you look like you're melting, because that look takes like, I think somebody once said it takes like 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day to maintain that kind of look. And that's what I used to eat when I was running marathons. So it was just annoying to me. And it's like, and they're rude. They're rude as fuck. Excuse me, I'm trying to get by. Go around. I'm trying to, and they'll bump you with it. And it's like, oh God.
But that's assault. That's assault.
If there's any justice in this world, I could have turned around and just punched her right in the face. But because she kept bumping the back of my legs with the cart, going, I'm trying to get through. And it's like, my son-in-law's like, let's just go. Because I'm thinking, lady. And no, they don't count as assault when a fat person rams you with a cart.
Depends on what state you're in, but yeah.
Yeah. I would go
she'll
to
be
jail.
like,
Janelle lives in California, so
Yeah. You guys can come visit me in prison after I've knocked the bitch off the cart.
well, it's just rudeness. I think that gets to me more than anything is the rudeness.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
sometimes the other thing that gets me is, you really see it when you're disabled, but they'll see you gimping along, with your cane in the cart and you're limping, and they'll give you the smarmiest look while they're sitting in the cart. Like,
Really?
it's just this smart. Yeah, they're not even embarrassed. They're just smarmy about it. Like, I have the cart, ha ha ha. And it's like, ugh. But, hey, it's just probably me being irritable.
No, I was the personal assistant to one of those people once, and
They are scum of the earth.
yeah, absolute scum of the earth, and
That woman was that's one of the few people that I would say, oh, what did he wrote Chronicles in Narnia.
C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis said the most evil people in the world were the ones that were passively evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the ones that are outwardly just openly evil in your face, but the ones that enable it and sneak it by and play the victim. That was her to a T.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, this woman was just absolute
soulless,
incredibly soulless. I quit after 3 months, and if there some justice, she did get charged with embezzling funds, so at least there's something to that. But oh god, she was awful, and it really pissed the shit out of me because she was perfectly ambulatory. She just didn't want to walk when we would go to the grocery store, and I told her, if you feel that way, you can wait in the car and I'll go do your shopping for you. I mean, that's part of my job. And she goes, no, I can do it. And she'd argue with the manager to get a cart that she could motor around in. She didn't need it, and it just made the biggest ass of herself. So no, I'm totally with you. Those people don't need them. I think I think you need to show an actual need when getting those carts, because you're right, they're abused too much.
Do you know what else I've seen? I have seen this more times than I can count. I'm walking toward the last cart, I've got my cane and I'm heading there, and you can tell, that I need it. And some fat woman will just sprint to it. And then sit down and give you this look. And it's like, really? You can sprint? I couldn't run if you put a gun to my head. Well, maybe I could for like 10 steps.
But yeah, it's like, come on, this isn't like being a kid and it's like, oh, I got the last bumper car,
Yeah, that's how they act.
It is how they act, but it's like, come on, people.
When we went to Vegas 2 years ago, and we were going out to the pool, there was a young man that was with his family, and he had crutches, and the main entrance to the pool was closed, so you literally had to walk all the way around through the casino to the other side to get to the pool. And we see this young man with his family, and he's, got crutches, and yeah, he can't go out and swim in the pool, but he still wants to go be with his family. These two drunk bitches are in fucking rascals with their drink in one hand and their floaties in the other, and are driving towards the pool. And now we know why the kid had to walk there, because these two drunk bitches could not get off their asses and decided to drive there instead. And they drove by and honked at the family like, haha, fuck you.
Yeah.
As they were going out to the pool. And my husband and I were just like, Jesus Christ. And not only that, they were terrorizing everybody in the hallways and out on the pool deck. And like, luckily we went to the other side of the pool deck. We're like, we're not dealing with this shit. The three of us wanted to get in the pool and enjoy our time. But I couldn't believe it. And they were like doing fucking donuts and shit in them. And nobody kicked them out. Like, this is Vegas, where people, the hotel, the resort can be a little bit more strict, but they didn't. It was fucking unreal.
Mm. See, that's got to end. I mean, one thing that's really blown me away about living in the neighborhood we do is I don't know if you experienced this last time you visited, Janelle. Did you notice people would actually say things like "excuse me" and "thank you"?
Oh yeah, everybody's polite in Arizona.
Isn't that like that? Wasn't that like the weirdest thing to experience?
Yes. Also, saying offensive things in public and people will laugh instead of cringing and crying.
Yeah.
That was the other
Or
thing I
watching their
noticed.
mouth in front of children.
hmm
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I was so blown away. Or shit, for that matter, seeing fathers
Yeah, seeing fathers.
was such a weird
Seeing
experience.
intact families at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I love about where I live is you see like fathers with their kids and intact families, and it's like I remember in when I was on the West Coast, it was like less and less were you seeing intact families, and man, and everybody's like, oh, but what if they left? Shut up. I'm tired of all these hypotheticals. What if they left because? Shut up.
Most of the time, if you don't have an intact family, the divorce is for something stupid. It really
Oh
is.
God.
It's
Well,
like,
it's like that.
go ahead.
It's like that old joke I said the other night. The guy. These women are talking, and this woman goes, "Yeah, I finally convinced my husband to give up drinking and smoking and fast cars and gambling and all this other stuff. So I finally get rid of all those bad habits." Oh, that's great. It's great. It's great. Well, but I'm divorcing him. And the other woman like, why? She goes, well, he's not the man I married. That's a good joke.
I actually know a couple of men whose wives did that to them, and they're like absolutely fucking miserable now. Made them give up all of the things that they considered a bad habit. It like took it all away. It's like, what the fuck are they supposed to do?
Yeah, it's weird.
My uncle just finalized his divorce. He was married to this woman for almost 40 years.
Oh Jesus.
About 15 years ago, she something happened, don't know what, but basically she got fibromyalgia and just never left the bed and didn't leave the bed for 15 years, and he took care of her the entire time. She didn't work, she didn't do anything, she just stayed in bed and watched TV. He came to be with my grandfather last year because my grandfather turned 100 on Thanksgiving. And so it was the big family thing because we all knew that was going to be the last time we saw him. And when he got back home, he found the receipt for her lawyer. And he asked, what is this? And she says, oh, I'm divorcing you because you're cheating on me. And it's like, no, I'm not. Where the hell did you get that idea? No, I don't want to talk about it. Get out of the house.
She's cheating on him.
Yep.
If that's the case, I want to know who, because I don't see how, because she never left the house and he worked from home.
As far as we know.
So,
far as we know.
Yeah. So it's just like, how the fuck did that happen?
Has he maybe had her? Should he have her psych evaluation? I mean,
Look,
if you're like
she's a
bedridden.
pet psychic. She's nuts.
Oh.
They lived in what? Portland, and she was a fucking pet psychic.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, this might be the good thing for him. He can move out of Portland and rejoin the human race instead of that fucking bug hive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why people go and visit and move there. I'm like, have you not seen the shit-coated streets? It is San Francisco of Oregon.
Well, that's the other thing about the flood in San Francisco. You see people walking through that water and the shit floating in it, and you're like, oh my God.
See, I remember when Portland was like a really nice place. I mean, we actually thought about moving there at one point because it was really nice. And it went downhill starting about 2010. It just nosedived because I used to have to go there to go to the VA up there. And holy shit, it got to the point where I would drive 40 miles out of my way so I'd come in from the backside instead of driving through Portland itself.
Oh, shit.
My grandparents lived in Portland for a while. When my grandfather worked for a company called Glazer Brothers, he was their hatchet man, which was, he went to the different warehouses, fired who needed to be fired, hired who needed to be hired, and, fixed them. But
he's a gunslinger.
So he was moved around the Western United States a lot for their warehouses. And at one point, they moved to Portland. I wasn't born yet, but my mom talked about how Portland was the most boring fucking city she'd ever been to. Oh my goodness gracious.
What?
Patriotism.
Oh,
Just a
That
little
distracted me.
patriotism.
I'm on the back porch, so
I mourn the fact that I probably will never get to go to Powell's again, because Powell's Books was the absolute
Oh my
best
God, yes.
bookstore in the entire fucking planet, and I will never get to go there again.
I
So-
don't even know if it's still in business.
Really?
Well, it was in the dead center of the Chop.
Oh, it's fucked.
I mean, I know they're online. They're still online, but whether or not they've got a physical location or not, yeah.
Yeah, my brother said he drove through there once, and there was literally people with rifles blocking off some of the suburbs.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, this is in Portland or Frisco?
Yeah, Portland.
Portland.
Oh, is this
Well,
at
the thing
height of
is there were
Antifa?
neighborhoods in Washington outside that were basically people pulling their rifles out, making sure that the riots didn't come into their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm trying to find out why Chicken Sith is unable to join us.
Don't
My,
know.
I just
My-
read that he got accused of cheating, but whenever his ex needs a babysitter for their daughter, so she could date the current husband she's with that she was cheating on him with. Like, holy shit, dude. That's awful.
You guys got to meet.
Wow.
You guys got to meet Chicken Sith. He's a cool guy. He actually, I think, was one of the first people we really met online. That was like, you're cool.
I knew somebody. They took care. Their girlfriend got sick when they were in high school, and he married her, and he took care of her. And then they came out with a treatment for what was wrong with her. I don't remember what it was. And he was all
There
like,
we go.
she can go places and she could drive places, she could do stuff. And then he found out that she was cheating on him.
After
When-
he took care of her.
Yeah. But I knew a guy who did the same thing, and he was like, well, I'm trying to live my life like I missed out on. I'm like, I don't care, we're not friends anymore. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because your wife took care of you, dude, and now you're repaying her by screwing everybody that moves.
He's
you
gonna
don't
hang
get
out
it.
on the net.
My cousin did that. That happened to my cousin too. She, married her first husband, and took care of him. She's a professional nurse, and she took care of him after he had fucking heart transplant surgery.
Oh, Jesus.
And like as soon as he was out of bed, he was screwing around. It's like, fuck.
Is
Okay.
it some sort of weird ass mentality like people are on the verge of death and then they bounce back, and instead of thanking the person that took care of them, it's like, oh my God, I almost died, I need to go live my life again, and just fuck said person over?
Yeah,
Like,
that happens all the time.
Yeah,
And
it's
that is the
really
most selfish
crazy.
fucking thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was, the woman that, or the I forget the guitarist from Blondie who was hooked up with Deborah Harry. That's a different situation. It's a bit more of a tragic one, though. Is that Deborah Harry was deeply involved with the guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know this story.
and she got like crazy sick, and he helped her through the entire thing. But by the end of it, it wasn't that it was like, okay, I'm well now, bye. It was like, by the end of it, they still loved each other, but they had been through so much hell.
Yeah, that's different. That's completely different.
They
It's like,
couldn't.
look,
They just couldn't
Well,
continue the relationship.
the resentment was there, and yeah, I can get that.
I get that too,
It's
but
kind of tragic.
that's more adults coming to a realization of, okay,
Well, they still work
Yeah,
together.
we've been through
They're
shit.
still friends.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
be together. Yeah, we can be friends, but
It's
yeah, we just
like
can't be together.
I took care of you for 20. I took care of you for this long, and nowadays
It
when
was
you
7
just call-
years.
Yeah, 7 years, and when you call my name from the kitchen, I cringe.
Yeah.
We can't get by this.
No, that's adults
Yeah.
coming to a realization. That's not. I'm going to pretend I'm 16 again.
Okay, so this is what a Reptoid looks like. Okay, this is a Reptoid.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Thanks, Ishi. Holy, she's gonna pop up in there.
Here's another Reptoid.
What am I looking at?
Adam Schiff.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
That dude's
Yo,
a Reptoid.
If you know what, I'll tell you one thing. If I was walking through the alley at night and that guy jumped out of a dumpster with eyes like that, I'd just give him my wallet, because I made it a rule a long time ago. I don't fight crazy people. Because those eyes just flat out say.
Oh, she's a fish person.
She really
Damn,
does
she
have the
really
Innsmouth
is.
look.
She does.
Okay, for the audience that doesn't know, H.P. Lovecraft wrote The Shadow over Innsmouth, and it was a bootlegger town that during the Depression, it was before that. There was a famine, and the town fathers made a deal with Dagon
Mm-hmm.
and started letting their women mate with the fishmen.
Yes.
And the population were half-breeds
Mm-hmm.
of half fish, and they slowly would devolve into fishmen as they got older and older. And they were all easily identified by their widespread eyes and big fish lips and complexion.
Well, he made the Skull Monkey Media's penis retweet into himself
That's always handy.
by posting that. Oh shit!
Ginger, she looks like Bloat from Finding Nemo.
Oh god!
Okay, so I had a few other memes that I had made since we were talking about such things. One more picture of reptoids. These are reptoids. Just making it very clear so everyone understands.
It's kind of hard to tell.
It's actually a real picture of the Rothschilds.
Okay. Well, that needed context because with the size of it, it's kind of hard to tell.
What is it with rich people and getting really weird?
I don't know. You know that the Addams family was actually making fun of the Rothschilds?
Mm-hmm.
It was originally
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah,
didn't know either.
Charles Addams was making fun of the fact that they were weird, they were mean-spirited, they were into the occult. They seemed to be obsessed with death and cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the Addams family was kind of making fun of them.
That's
Oh,
why the
God,
cartoon is so mean.
I have never seen the cartoon. I only watched the show and then the
No, it
Barry
was the comic
Sonnenfeld
strips.
movies.
Yeah.
It was the
Oh.
comic strips way
Yeah.
back in the day. The TV show is nothing like the comic strips.
No.
Oh, okay.
So then I had a few there. I made this one, and I thought of Ralts when I was making this one.
Oh God.
Okay, it's a guy and he's sitting
Yeah.
ponderously. Oh, you can see it now? Okay.
Yeah.
No, see, I see this and I immediately think, oh, he's making his God call.
Email that to me.
Okay, sure.
You know,
Yeah,
the
I
only
made that, and I'm like, I'm thinking of Ralts here. 5th edition
Yeah.
is trash.
Oh man.
I have one 5th edition book, but it's the supplement, The Elemental Plane, because I actually thought that book was kind of cool. That's how I made my avatar character for D&D.
No, supplementals are oftentimes very fun.
I need to fire up a campaign again. I had
Cat
one,
would
but
play.
it's-
I would play.
Cat would
I'll play.
absolutely play with the drop of a hat.
I am
But
so
it
there.
would be Pathfinder First Edition.
Oh, that's okay.
So Janelle, can you see the screen?
Yes, not bad protein workout.
Actually, artist for a World War Kaiju did work for Pathfinder. So
I'm not laughing at you, Kat. I'm laughing at the meme.
no, I know.
I'm just sharing weird
See,
memes that I've
okay,
done.
Do you know where this came from?
No.
Okay, there's this horrendous movie called Galaxy Invader. And it's one of those films where it has such a shoestring budget. Everybody in the cast obviously brought their own costumes. And this guy walks around like 2/3 of the film with this hole in his chest for no reason.
Oh jeez.
Holy shit.
So, yeah.
Oh, man. Sometimes bad movies are so fun to watch.
Yes.
Did MST3K do it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, Riff Tracks.
Riff Tracks did it.
Okay.
Riff Tracks did it.
You know, the weird thing is the guy on the right here in the picture was in a number of John Waters films.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Pathfinder 2.0 because it's garbage, watered down for simpletons.
Really?
I
How?
bought I got the 3 books for Pathfinder 2.0 for free because I know people. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, this is absolute trash.
So how exactly is it watered down then? I'm
Well,
curious.
I didn't like I only messed with it for about a month. I didn't like what they did to the character races. I didn't like what they did to the character classes. I didn't like. There's a lot of stuff about it I didn't like. I mean, I'd have to.
Mm,
That was like, I think 2 years ago now, maybe 3. But I
mhm.
was like, no, this is not what I wanted. This is not what they were talking about in the playtests. And of course, they just ignored everybody's feedback during the playtests and put out whatever the hell they wanted. And I was like, why did you even send this to me? Well, I thought you'd enjoy it. I enjoy role playing games. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Oh, it's one of those.
And they're
Okay.
like, oh, that's right. You like Traveler and Twilight 2000 and Rifts. It's like, yeah, I do.
Wait, Twilight 2000. Oh wait, no, is Twilight 2000?
World War III in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, and that's the one where the guys that created it did their own tabletop, and they were each a country, and it turned out France is the one that ended up the winner.
I think
don't
so.
know. But I don't
Yeah,
buy
okay.
that.
I played that once when my friend was having us experiment with a bunch of different. Oh, hold on for a moment, guys. I'll be right back.
We played the shit out of Twilight 2000 because we were stationed in Germany in the late 80s. So, the game was really fun to play.
Okay, I have to say I enjoy hearing, military guys talking about playing RPGs while they're deployed.
Yeah.
Because there's usually that one that fits where you are at that time.
Yes.
And so it adds a whole new level. Like I told you, I knew a submariner who, while he was going underneath the Arctic, was playing Paranoia.
Oh, yeah, that works great.
Like, yeah, that's a weird dynamic there.
I played Paranoia once too. I got to play all these games once. I never got to finish a campaign because my friend every session would bring in a new fucking game. So you guys are talking about all these games. I'm like, yeah, I got to play them once. I'd like to play them all.
Hey, the fact that you got to play it at all, I mean, a lot of these nobody's even heard of. So
Twilight 2000 just absolutely rocked. But see, I'm one of those ones, I didn't approve a lot of this stuff is too hard for people, so we're going to change it. I also really disagreed with, oh God, what was it? I didn't like Mike Morales personally, but I'm trying to remember who worked on 3.0 that I had the problem with. I'm trying to remember his name.
on
I cannot remember. No. D&D 3.0 had a huge.
Oh.
Can't remember who the problem was. I had a problem with one of the guys, and it was.
Hey guys, I have to. Hold on. I'll be right back. Chris is having an issue with this computer, so just give me a couple of minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I had. I did not like the fact that 3.0 had a lot of what was called feat traps, where the feat was good at first level, but then you would wasted a feat for the rest of your character, and it was like,
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I mean, I thought 3.0 was an interesting attempt because I had just come off of playing Palladium's interpretation of Melnibone, and that was a lot of fun. And so 3.0 kind of struck me as very Palladium, like they were trying to go in that direction, but hadn't quite gotten there yet. So I was hopeful, but my hopes went away. So
what game was this? I just hopped back on. Sorry.
3.0.
D&D 3.0.
3.0 was good. I mean, I had no problem with it. I had an active game that had been running, my wife has been one of my players since 1991. So, no,
Nice.
yeah. So, it's kind of the same setting. It's a kitchen sink setting.
Mhm.
And we converted it over to 3.0, and it took, because I had the playtesting rules, it took almost a year and a half for me to move everything over. And we actually had a blast with it. One of the things that I figured out with a lot of these people's problems with, caster supremacy that you see everybody complain about is the DM doesn't say no. It's like, oh, my character is 5th level. I can now, do 3rd level spells. So I'm automatically going to insert some bullshit from some third party splat book. And the DM goes, oh, well, okay. And it's like, no, you don't.
Real quick, chicken Sith. I would love to do that. That's a great idea.
You own it.
Yeah, I do.
You have the series on DVD.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about what he said about doing the riff tracks for it?
For Kindred the Embrace. Yeah.
Yes, that would be fun to do one night.
I love that.
What's this? I don't get this question.
What about the Book of Erotic Fantasy?
Is that a game?
I actually knew Anthony Valterra. I'd met him personally more than once. He was a nice guy. The Book of Erotic Fantasy, you can tell who read it and who didn't, and who just went through it looking for shit to bitch about. It actually had some really good stuff. And as far as there had been so many sex and D&D web books put out that what he put out was actually tasteful compared. I mean, I've had people use stuff out of it, and it's been no problem because he gave me a signed copy.
Oh, is this the Aussie that wears the leather hat?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony Valterra was pretty cool. I liked both his wives; they were cool. Yeah, we stood outside smoking cigarettes and trying to figure out what we wanted to do with the rest of the day because it was raining in Seattle after the meeting.
Oh, he's pulling up images, and I think this is what White Wolf was trying to
Black Dog.
yeah.
Monty Cook. That's who I had the problem with.
Oh.
Well, not too bad of one, but I had a problem with his style of. He really didn't like marshals. He really didn't like martial characters, and he didn't like giving martial characters any type of fantastical ability. Even though you read the old tales, and you'd have a martial character out there wrestling a river. A real river. He's out there wrestling the river to get it to quit flooding, and I actually adapted that stuff into my game. I told everybody, hey, if your character has a 25 strength, if you want to go out there and wrestle the river to keep it from flooding the town, let's go ahead and do it. And I just used the stats for a large water elemental, but it was always fun. And I would always hear, well, that's not how the game is played. It's like, what
the game is played however you feel like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, you're just going to do anime stuff. And it's like, this has nothing to do with anime. This has to do with like Hercules and Gilgamesh and all those guys. And of course, you say Gilgamesh, and they're like,
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I had a problem with what the original definition of neckbeard was, and Grognard was the original. Which we only play exactly by my version of rules as written, and everybody else doesn't know how to play the game. It's like, shut the fuck up. Because never forget all these people who are online, all these people who are on forums and everything else telling you how to play your tabletop RPG. Are one of the big sites, N-World, did a poll to find out when the last time people played were. And you could click on it and see everybody's name who'd voted for what. And it was funny when I voted on it, and I was like less than a week prior, I'd ran a game. But all of these people who did all of this theory crafting and was like, oh, this feat doesn't work if you do this. And oh, this is completely broken. All those guys had never played or hadn't played in like 5 or 10 years.
That doesn't shock me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why if it's like, oh, if you can make this broken build, if your DM allows you to take these 3 prestige classes, have these 2 rare magical items, and the wizard spends all his time casting this spell on you, and that proves the system is broken. No, it proves your DM is functionally brain damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked up Book of Erotic Fantasy on Amazon, and the hardcover is $249.99.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Let's see.
I think it's out of print.
Yeah.
It's not on the shelf. I think I have it put away. Yeah. But yeah, I've got a copy signed by Anthony Valterra.
Wow.
and it was kind of neat because I actually got to meet a few of the people who posed for the images in it.
Yeah,
For
the
the
cover
for the
is
photography.
a hot demon chick with wings.
Mm-hmm.
And it, you know, everybody was like, oh, actually Wizards was so mad about that they changed the standards and practices
Seriously?
license. Yeah. Oh, they changed the standard and practice licenses for 3.0 so that he couldn't put D&D 3E on it. He had to put OGL on it. And that was a fun meeting because I said something that pissed everybody off. And
Well, that's always awesome when you do that, you know?
yeah, because everybody was like talking about all this stuff. I said, you need to offer the players a reason to buy your stuff.
Mhm.
And some of these people were from Wizards. And I said, and Wizards, you need to start offering stuff that are going to make people want to buy what you're offering, because I'm going to say something and none of you want to hear it. And everybody's like, oh, what? And I was like, the only thing you need to play this game is the player's handbook, the DM's guide, the monster manual, and some dice. That's all they need you for. If you can't offer them something and you keep talking bad about them and keep acting like you're owed their money, they're not going to buy your stuff. And holy shit, you'd think I dropped a grenade in the room. I mean, somebody slapped their hand on the table and goes, "Don't say that." I said, "Don't raise your fucking voice to me, fatso." But yeah, I mean, it was all, you guys got to remember, you have to bring something to the players.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, they managed to tweak it around. So now it's a lifestyle brand. And these people buy all this stuff and they never play it.
Unfortunately.
Actually,
I mean,
that's happened with a lot of stuff. It's lifestyle brand. Even Marvel said they were pivoting to
Yeah.
being more of a lifestyle brand.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sitting here, I've got every book Pathfinder put out. On my shelf right now, I got every book Pathfinder put out. I got 2 shelves of second and first edition stuff. I've got a bunch of Rifts books over there on the other shelf. I've got Chaos Earth from Palladium, love that. And I've got some Forgotten Realm stuff. I've got some Star Frontiers, and I've played every bit of this stuff. I mean, here we go. I got Shadowrun 2.0 books. And these people that are like, oh, you can tell who hasn't played the game, which is why I really need to run another one because it's been a couple months because I've been so busy with writing. But the last game I had was absolutely great. It was the characters were all, bottom of the barrel. The city state was involved in the war was over, but all the refugees were still flooding in. The military was still coming back, and the characters lived in the slums. And it was more about their contacts than it was about anything else. And we made an agreement that if an enemy or them tried to drop out of the fight by holding on to the wound and backing up, they'd let them. So it was basically Gangs of New York in D&D.
That sounds like fun.
Nice.
I'd play that.
Yeah,
Totally.
the kobold was an alchemist who made drugs. The witch did fortunes. The fighter was a leg breaker for the mob, and the tiefling monk was a pit fighter.
Oh God, a tiefling monk?
Yeah,
Oh, so we're talking. Okay, tieflings are the half demons, right?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit!
and
That sounds like so
and
much fun.
yeah, his mother carried him. His mother carried him out of the refugee camps of the war into the city, and the orc female's character's mother adopted him. And there was feats. We had feats like not feats, but we had things like if you had given more than half of your money to your parents, then you got Mama's good boy or Mama's good girl bonus for the entire day, which gave you a +1 luck to everything you rolled.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, would you run this again? Like this? I want to play this setting. Like I'm really excited now. I haven't felt excited about role playing in ages.
Everybody that played it, let's see. The only 2 people I know how to get a hold of anymore are my wife and my online wife, and I know they both jump right back into that thing because oh my god, I mean it was around drugs and like good old uncle. What was his name? Oh god, his name was it was like Uncle Pablo or some stuff would be like, okay, so the army is moving in ground wheat in carts to go to the granary. We're gonna have some guys get in a fight, and we're gonna block it, and the guy on the last wagon is gonna look the other way while you guys unload half the wagon, and you'll bring it back to me, and I'll make sure your mothers each get half a bag of wheat. And so they'd go out and do this raid on a caravan. That's the whole thing, and then they got to get the food back because they've got it under their arms, and they're running back, and they're running through other gang territory. And in one of them, it was a mage gang. It was kid mages. The biggest one is only third level, but there's like 20 of them, and they're like, give us 2 cups out of each bag, and they're like, fine.
Okay, that sounds like a fun setting.
Yeah.
I would play the hell out. A lot of the GMs that I had, or I should say DMs, because it's D&D, really did a lot of the generic stuff. Like, they would do some off the book stuff, but mostly it was generic. I have always wanted to play games that are in the setting but off the wall.
Oh yeah,
And-
they couldn't pack weapons because the guard would pat them down. So none of them had weapons because the guard would kick the shit out of you. And if somebody couldn't make it that weekend, if somebody was like, "Oh, I can't make it," we'd always start off with so and so got picked up by the guards, and they're doing a week in the they're doing a week in the mines.
Wow.
And the person playing the half was it was the kobold. The kobold took a feat that we called my cousin works there, and no matter where they went, they'd tap on the back door, and this kobold would come out, and he'd be like, "Hey, cousin, can you let us in?"
Oh God, this because they breed like rabbits, right?
Well, that's like a Cyberpunk 2020 skill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously, that is like a Cyberpunk
everything.
2020 skill. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, and they've got it in Shadowrun too, and that's kind of what I did. Is I mixed Cyberpunk 2020, Shadowrun, and then Gangs of New York, and put it in D&D.
I wish more GMs would be what's the word I'm looking for? Flexible
Creative?
and open-minded to doing like crazy, like, let's go off the beaten path. Let's go and do something completely different.
Well,
It's
the rule
not even
I
that
always
crazy.
had was the characters should be having, or the players should be having fun.
Yes,
That was my rule.
absolutely.
That's-
Everybody should follow that rule.
Oh, like again in the last game that Ishii ran that I was in, one of the players just decided he didn't want to be a part of the main plot and just took off on his own. And the funny thing is that he thought that he had found the main plot and that we all were going down the wrong track. But he
was the ultimate. It was like the dude was a sociopath and didn't even know it.
Yeah, total sociopath.
Ends up killing people on accident because he's such.
He killed people. He kidnapped a girl. He's he's dosing people with all sorts of different types of narcotics because he was a ripper doc. And he had this weird idea that he was, fucking Prince Valiant.
Well, yeah, he decided he would use a truth serum drug to get the character, these 2 goths that he was certain somehow had something to do with the plot.
And they were just trying to make out in a parking lot somewhere?
No, they were trying to make out in a graveyard.
Or in a graveyard, okay.
And he botched his role on drugging them and ended up killing both of them.
Oh, jeez.
You've got me looking through my Cyberpunk 2020 book now. I just pulled it out of the cabinet. Oh my God, I don't think I could ever do Ripper Doc though.
God, I'd have to design a city. Actually, I could probably use the same city maps I had. I mean, because one of the rules was, if somebody dropped out of the combat and dropped their weapon or ran, you didn't chase them if they were gangs. But when they ran into a cult, and they were like, "Fuck this! These cult people have to die." So it gave them a little bit different if they ran into a monster. And the sewers were dangerous as shit. But of course, the kobold had a cousin who worked in the sewers.
So I have never played Cyberpunk 2020 or any of the Cyberpunk stuff except for 77. And that's one game I have always wanted to play.
Cyberpunk was a ton of fun. That was actually other than
it's always the game master though.
Yeah.
It's not the game.
No,
Yeah.
it's the game master.
So where did this notion come from that, the rules are the end all be all? I mean, it used to be it's whatever the DM says.
Knights of the Dinner Table, it's those rule master, fucks who like memorize all of the books. There's like, no, you can't do that because on page 247 of this one
They've
supplement,
always,
it says that you
Yep.
can't do that.
those
Yep.
guys have always been around. I mean, even in the 80s, those guys were around.
Yeah,
A
there
lot
was
of
a
the
thing called
guys that
lightning bolt for them.
Yeah.
a lot of the guys that I played with were that way, and like we actually would have games stop for an hour while the GM would argue with a player over something. Everybody would have to crack
What?
out the books and
Yep.
start looking, and so that's probably why I only got for D&D the literal like white bread stuff. The one time that I got to play a game that could have gone off the rails was, like I said, the same guy that decided that we had to play a different game every week. So yeah, like whenever I played D&D, it was literally you had to have one paladin, one cleric, one warrior, one healer, da 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 da. We had to choose from a pool, but it had to fit into what a typical D&D party would be. Like you couldn't go off and be a Goliath, you couldn't go off and be a tiefling. If you were going to be a halfling, you had to be a thief. Shit like that.
No,
Yeah, I hate that.
That's not fun. That's totally not fun. I mean, I've been in groups where it was like, 3 of us were thieves, and like we had, one paladin, and that was it. And so the GM's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to, either the person that we were working for gave us a cleric to go with so that we wouldn't kill ourselves, or we had to hire one if we wanted one for that particular mission. And there were some where we decided to chance fate and not have one, and damn, that was stupid. So, but
Well,
that's the way it goes.
the one time I got to play Warhammer 40K, the GM didn't like the fact that we didn't have a medic or a heavy gunner. So without telling me, he turned my character, who was an operator, into the heavy gunner instead. And I was miserable because it wasn't what I wanted to play. I had to wait every 2 turns to fire my heavy gun.
No bullshit.
And it's because we didn't have a medic or a heavy gunner. So it really pissed me off too, because he let everybody else's character stay the same, but he changed my character because we apparently didn't need an operator. And
Well, that's a bad game. That's a bad game master. You
Yeah.
you plan that all from the beginning.
Okay, well, this is also the same guy that, like I said, was switching the games all the time. And also when we played the D&D game and I made the cool avatar monk, he didn't introduce me till 3 games in.
Oh,
Usually
geez.
the way that I'd run my games is I would interview each player and ask and pretty much get a sense of who and what they wanted to play. I'd have them generate their characters, then I'd write the story.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were going to get. And let me also say, everybody that was the GM was my friend. He's a friend of ours, but the
Steph, are you
other
sure you don't want to join us?
he should. I'd like to hear his stories.
I want to hear his Gen X behaving badly stories, but anyway.
Okay, we have 2 GMs in the room. We have we have 2 people who did game testing, and all of us have been players. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of some good questions to ask.
I used to actually design them.
What, Ralt?
I used to actually design video games. I mean, I used to actually design role playing games.
How, okay, like when you are designing a role playing game, like
Okay.
what is the thing that you start with?
You got to start with an idea of what the game's going to be about, is where you got to
Mhm.
start. I mean, is it going to be zombies? Is it going to be high fantasy? Is it going to be post-apocalyptic? And then you go from there. Some people believe you should then develop the mechanics so that the setting supports the mechanics. Other people believe that mechanics should be the last thing you settle on. I'm one of the ones of mechanics are late in it.
That you get your world built first, and then
Yes.
okay, how do you function in it?
Right.
So, like, you've played a lot of different systems, what's your favorite system to play on?
As a player,
Yeah, as a
I'm
player
good.
and then as a GM.
I have not played since I played Shadowrun about 20 years ago. I haven't been a player. But it would be Rifts, Shadowrun, or Pathfinder. I mean, 3 wildly different ones. But
Yeah,
I prefer
telling
I
the
don't
story.
yeah. Well, I've been doing it for so long that, I'm the DM. So plus I know
Well-
the rules back and forth.
Well, for everybody here, do you go by the theory of you should only roll the dice when you absolutely have to, or that if there's a skill that has a dice roll, that's when then you roll the dice whether or not it's really necessary or not?
You roll the dice when I feel like it. I might make you roll just because I want to watch you cringe.
Ooh. So keep everybody on their toes. You never know what's going to happen and when it's going to hit.
Right, and I
that.
might have you roll. I might have you roll a saving throw. So let's say we're playing, and I have you roll a save for fortitude, and then nothing happens. Well, that's not for right then. That's for in about an hour from now when somebody sneaks up behind you and sticks you with a poison needle,
Oh,
shit.
so that it's already out of the way.
Wow. I
Damn.
like that. You're the first GM to do that I've seen.
Really, my underlying rule was that I would have a vague plot. I knew my point A, my point B, and my beginning, middle, and end, what I wanted. I'd have specific scenes, but the most important thing for me was one, a certain level of amount of actual open world, and a certain amount, and then a very high level of an illusion of total freedom.
Yes.
Now, never tell them the solution, but every decision should feel like they made it.
Yes.
And if they feel like they're being forced, they're not going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If you spent 2 hours building an encounter, and they went north instead of south, then you turn your map upside down.
Right.
Unless there is unless you've got a fully developed world and the players know where they're going. The direction the players are going should always be roughly in the same way, in the correct direction. They should be always moving this in the correct direction because they're what's driving. Yes, the world should move beyond them and around them and behind them, but they are actually what moves the world. They're the protagonists of the story.
Well, now I will say that the one problem with the freedom part is you will occasionally get the dumb player who decides to pick out the 2 random goths at the nightclub, tail them to the graveyard where they start fucking, and have it in his mind that he's convinced because they caught his eye, they must be important, and then decide to interrogate them and accidentally poison them to death, and it have absolutely nothing to do with the plot. Now that is the risk, but that's his problem.
That's his problem, and he can explain to Lone Star why he's standing there over 2 dead girls.
Actually, I kind of threw in, because he was becoming such a pain in the ass, I purposely put in a Judge Dredd character that would show up and smack his ass around and continually throw him in jail.
Yeah.
That's good for him.
Awesome.
But with Cyberpunk, so Judge Dredd
Yeah.
would show up and beat him up.
Well, then maybe he shouldn't fuck around with Judge Dredd, should he?
Hell no.
I mean, I like if the players are willing to let big bad evil guy get away. I actually reward that with everybody knows about the fact that they beat big bad evil guy's ass and he had to run. Because one thing I always hated, and it was really bad in a lot of games I played, and my wife used to mention it too, is that no matter what you did in the world, the DM NPCs and the corporate NPCs had beat you there.
Although I will have to say the funniest thing I think I had a player do, because I gave them freedom to do anything they wanted.
That's Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew exactly where that was going.
This was a character who always walked around town dressed like a dominatrix. Well, okay, it's cyberpunk. Fine.
Okay, fine.
but also insisted on always carrying their assault rifle and their 2 pistols and their katana.
Yeah.
Well, in
Oh,
certain parts of
God.
town, that's sort of okay. They had an adventure and they came across a crate of dynamite, and said character decided it was a male playing a she,
Yeah.
decided, well, I need money and I'm sure I could sell this dynamite for money, and decided, dressed as a dominatrix, carrying an assault rifle, 2 pistols, and a katana, walking into a gun store with a box of dynamite saying, I want money.
Oh my Lord in heaven.
And wanted
And then
to know
didn't understand why they were dead.
Yes, while everyone opened fire on her.
Yes. And then she was angry. She's like, "Wait, I dropped the dynamite," and tried to go back for it. It's like, no,
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah,
And
I got
it was in me. I would have just let him go and get shot up, but my character couldn't let her.
Well, keep in mind, you were also working for the local mob boss.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, he
said, that gun store pays protection to me, and you work for me, and you really fucked up. So here's a knife. You're removing your pinky.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that's what you
shit.
get.
Yep. And then he
Uncle
made us
Leo, that was
babysit,
his name.
Larry and Keith.
Yeah, and then I made you babysit Larry and Keith. Yes.
Yeah, I was not happy.
I've told you about this, right?
No.
Okay, this is punishment for for players when they're monumentally stupid.
I've been in 2 games with him with 2 different sets of people, and he's had to sick Larry and Keith on us both.
Where the boss shows up and says, well, look, you guys have been fucking up a lot. I'm going to give you something easy. Okay? I'm having 2 very wealthy, good friends come into town. They're corpos. They're just corporate guys, but they make me a lot of deals. They're very, very rich, and they just want to have a good time. All you have to do is keep them alive.
Oh, fuck,
I can already see where this is going
we're
in Cyberpunk.
Dead.
And basically, these 2 guys go on a bender where they're drinking and whoring and getting high out of their minds, and going to bar, trying to say, hey, fuck face. This guy over here, my bodyguard, says you're the biggest pussy in the world.
Oh, God.
I've never had so much fun watching my character get tortured as having to babysit Larry and Keith.
Or then trying to explain to the madam what they were doing with when they went into the bordello full with a bunch of stim chips and shaved hamsters.
Yeah. They came back out with the chips.
And the madam wanting to be paid off for what they'd done.
Yeah.
Yep. Or else.
Oh, God. Okay, I really want to play a Cyberpunk game now with you guys. Oh my! I want to babysit Larry and Keith. I want to do this in the worst way.
Babysit them. You can do that.
I will totally act like an asshole to be punished and babysit.
And remember,
that sounds like so much fun.
And they picked a hooker up off the street in TJ and said, "Oh, you're our new girlfriend. You're coming with us."
Wait,
we're getting married.
Boys?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? Like, I know that we already I know Kat, Ishi, and I do, or at least Kat and I do 2 shows. Well, no, I know Kat does 3 shows actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear to God, now I want to do a show that rivals Critical Role in the worst way.
It's the majority. What a lot of people don't realize that watch Critical Role is, it's all scripted.
Really?
It's all scripted. Every bit of it is scripted.
Okay.
Except for how retarded they are.
I'll admit I never watched Critical Role because it's like, why do I want to watch other people, play other people I don't know play a game that I wish I could be playing? It just it seemed like it would just get me depressed. So
it's very much scripted, and everybody acts like it's not, and it's like, no, this is scripted out the ass.
Everybody just watches it to watch Matthew Mercer do all the different voices.
Yeah.
Since he's a professional voice actor. Like, seriously. And then whatever movie star, rock star is the guest of the week.
And I'll be honest, if you play with me, I don't do I might do a voice rarely, and then it will be noticeable, and you'll be like, "Wait, what? Are you okay?"
I play characters when I GM. I probably embarrass the shit out of myself. I don't know. How do I do?
I remember you being fine, but then again, like when you were gender bending, it was you being the goth chick.
There was the hooker. Yeah, I had a feeling he had a lot on his mind, so I'd suck his dick to make him feel better. But he really used to calm him down.
Oh, then we're going to be fine because I don't have to worry about anybody getting upset about the fact that, okay, so your older sister got busted for prostitution again. And the guard says they'll let her out, but you gotta bring him a couple of hits of red nettle. So that means you gotta go to the Kobold Alchemist, get the red nettle, come back.
Okay, seriously though, I'm serious. We need to do a couple of Monday night episodes and dedicate them to role playing. Like I'm insisting, people. Like, okay, I'm
You're
just
insisting.
insisting now. Yeah, please, please, please.
Please.
Chicken Sith wow, actually, the sake is finally hitting me. Chicken Sith says that he will actually do voices, get up, pace around, get active. Okay, so you're kind of like I am. I do the same thing.
In the few games that I did run, I totally got into it, and I'd actually like pull people into different rooms and
I've done that.
Act full scenes with them. Actually, what was hilarious was one of my GMs, we were doing a Star Wars, and we were playing it at another friend's apartment, and he pulled me outside to enact, to do a scene. And apparently, I mean, we didn't do anything. We were just, talking low voiced, but pacing back and forth in front of each other, kind of the, getting ready to fight if we needed to, but it never came to that. And she thought we were high on something. His landlord did, and threatened to kick him out of the house.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, we didn't do anything. We were just kind of pacing back and forth. She's like, yeah, she thought for certain you guys were in a gang and high on meth and we're gonna kill each other.
Well, okay, I will say it's awkward when you're kind of making time with a woman and you're kind of getting into that thing where you're about to date, and she pulls you into the other room for the okay, this is your part of the game, because then everyone in the other room's going to talk.
Yeah, that can be.
No. What's funny is when, Ishii was running the cyberpunk game that we basically met in, and
we met in a comic store, but your bitch friend wouldn't.
Well, yes, but
was
then
like cock blocking me like majorly.
The funny thing is that bitch friend, she would never admit it, but she had a crush on you. So when you'd pull her, so when you'd pull her out of the room to do things too, she was totally hoping for stuff. And no shenanigans happened, and then she'd get pissy, and then she got really pissy when she found out that
I'm a fucking gentleman. I wasn't going to do anything to any of you. I wasn't gonna fucking use a role-playing game to hook up with a chick. That's loser shit.
Yeah, but
thank you.
Wanted it because she's a frigid bitch who needed that framework in order to justify, the fact that she likes the cock.
I mean, I know that she kind of got weirded out by my humor when I kept joking that I was breaking into her home and sniffing her underwear.
Well, yeah, that turned her on.
I was kidding. I was trying to make her uncomfortable.
God.
She acted like she was offended, but that turned her on.
That's just my sense of humor.
I know.
I said similar shit to Andrew.
Yeah.
I called him at 2 a.m. and told him reptoids wanted his anus.
Very nice. Very nice.
But Rose
Why
really
didn't I know you guys when I was younger? It would have been great.
Janelle, we would have been great friends younger.
Reptoids are here for your anus.
Yeah, I'd call up Andrew at 2 a.m. and go, Andrew, the reptoids. You gotta lock your windows. The reptoids want your anus. And then I'd hang up.
And then he'd call me. He's like, that guy Josh just called me.
But no, it's like, so seriously, Rose really, the thing is, at that point, if Rose really wanted me, she could have had me. What was her deal?
That woman's body is broken.
Oh, that's because AI generated it.
Okay.
This is deviant art.
Sorry, I was amazed by the broken anatomy. Although that woman's really fucking hot.
I can share that if you want.
Yeah.
But no,
Are we
this
talking
is
about the Behold Humanity chick that's on the cover?
No.
Anyway, we'll talk.
She's cool. No, that's a picture he found on DeviantArt.
I was like, what? Her back's broken. What happened?
I'm kind of tipsy, and so I'm just like scrolling randomly. Anyway, no, this chick Rose, the thing was, she was cute. And at that point, I was single, and I had been living in San Francisco like for 5 years, so I had gotten nothing but harpies and angry bitches and fat dykes. So I mean, if she wanted to hook up with me, I mean, sure, it would have happened. So what was her deal?
Where to begin?
Where to begin?
Jesus.
I mean, I'm glad I ended up with you
for
instead.
the show.
No, really, it's like, where to begin?
I mean, I'm
her?
glad I ended up with you instead. I mean, every time I would talk to her, just friendly, not even hitting on her, just being friendly, she'd totally act like a freak.
Okay. You want to know? You want to know her problem?
Yeah.
She was playing a Ripper Doc who had a spider droid named Ginsburg.
Pretentious.
Yes.
Well, I knew she was pretentious. But I would have been very disappointed after you told me the truth about her tits.
Oh.
Fake. She's silicone.
No,
No.
she'd stuff.
She's
Toilet paper.
We're in high school. We sleep over at each other's houses. And, I saw the toilet paper fall out when we were getting ready for bed.
I'm glad I'm a guy.
Yeah, yes, you are. I much preferred, hanging out with our guy friends, because there was what you got was what you got. There was no pretending.
So that is why when the one time I drove her home from the game, she acted so weird.
Yeah.
God, she's a freak.
Yeah.
God,
Sounds
she's
like
such
not in
a
a good way.
fucking weirdo.
Is she oblivious since the 1990s?
Yeah. Well, there was actually, ironically, her name, this girl's name was Rose.
Mhm.
Ironically, at the time I was kind of making time with a really knockout Korean girl at a restaurant downtown before I hooked up with Kat. So, and her name was Rose too. So it was kind of weird.
Okay, if you want an idea of what one quadrant of the city looked like, I can show you real quick.
Oh, yes, please.
It took me a minute to find out my.
Do you see what's on screen?
No, hang on.
Okay, you might want to hype this before we change the screen.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
hype that a little bit.
Yeah, the new book out. It's Screams of the Past. It's where you finally find out what the SUD system, the Sentience Uninterrupted Disaster Storage System, actually is, and just how comprehensive it is. Dee obviously has returned because there she is in all of her matronly glory, and Samuel, who's in the very first book, like chapter 3 or 4, that's him in the background.
That's Samuel.
Yeah, that's Samuel.
I love Samuel.
And it pretty much gets to the war ramps up. The war on Terra ends because the Atlantic Talon showed up with a couple million ships, and it just wasn't enough to bust Fortress Sol. And lots of more stuff starts coming up and happening because Player 3 is all in.
Nice.
And everybody likes Player 3.
Neostar, we were all told lies. We were all fucking told lies. Okay, if I had known the truth, I would have been so much more successful with women. Seriously. Yeah, the whole thing about slow hand and being gentle and not rushing. No. The most successful I was when I threw her down, ripped her shirt off, and started banging her. So seriously, it was like, you know what? Everything I was told was a fucking lie. I'm a little drunk.
All right, let's see
So-
here.
So this book, Ralts, is available now, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Is it just on Kindle or is it also in paperback?
it's paperback, hardback.
Oh wait, let me ask you a
Awesome.
question though. Can people enter this, or should they start at the beginning?
You need to start at the beginning.
Okay, so I also noticed that you've collected certain stories into groups.
Yes.
So if, like, say somebody doesn't want to start at the beginning,
Don't complain to me when you don't understand what's going on.
no, because you've got like you've got the Pathak Chronicles.
Right.
Like, what is that?
Pathak Chronicles are just some of the stories that some of the parts, the historical documentation that feature Pathak by himself.
Pathak is, by
mostly,
the way, great.
yeah, he's mostly historical.
That book is actually arriving for me tomorrow. So I've only read the first book. So should I wait on that book and go for the other books before I read that, or can
No,
that be a
it'll be fine.
standalone? Okay.
That can be a standalone. That one, if you read that one, you're going to be completely lost unless you've read at least up to, I think, book 4.
Okay, so Pathak, you can enter at any time. What is it? Scroll up. Then the Telkin Wars. Wait till book 4. You've also got
Fizzy Brew and Fear
Mhm.
is only the second. That is the second attack on Hesla. I think that's books. It finishes in book 7. She's got way more to go. Call Me D. Call Me D. If you read that, you're going to be totally lost.
Okay.
Okay.
Fizzy
Just
Brew and
curious.
Fear. Yeah, I put those there because some people wanted, some of my fans asked for, can we have these specific story arcs as have been told so far in the story separated?
Well,
so that we
I
can
know
see
this is the Monday Night Threesome, and it's supposed to be totally unfocused and just like bullshitting. But to talk a little bit about writing, just a little bit, I will say that my only big complaint about Behold Humanity is it's very scattered at first, and it's very hard.
Yes.
Yes.
That you get a
Yes.
hard. It's very difficult to really get a sense of how all these stories connect. That is the one
Right.
issue I've had with it.
And
I was-
some of it doesn't
oh.
connect until the 3rd or 4th book.
I was
Yeah,
going to say,
and-
when we were going to review Raltz's book, I was going to say my biggest complaint was that, and that I would recommend that he do what Frank Herbert did and put an appendix at the end of the books.
Honestly, I think you should have an appendix as just a separate book.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, you should do like Frank Herbert had the Dune Encyclopedia. You should do that for yours.
I was
'Cause-
thinking of doing one like the Terran Trade Federation books.
Oh.
Are we going San Trao Ishi? I don't know what that means.
Oh, check that out, Ishi. That is the northern wharf quadrant of the
his-
city.
His maps up.
Oh, okay. Let me put that up.
No, you made Ralts go away. There you are.
Look, I have had sake in me. My wife was wonderful, and she bought me sake, and I haven't had sake in months.
No, we don't want to be primary. We want. Can we? I don't know if we can make you
Primary?
primary Ralts.
Unfortunately.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
But let's see. Let me go to that particular one. All right. See, we go all the way down to the.
Nice.
This would be about street level where you guys could have your tokens. Shall I just grab a token real quick because it's easy to do.
Do you use Roll20?
That's what I'm actually on right now.
Okay.
Yeah. See, there's you just throw a quick woman in here, and that is she's a little big, and she's on the wrong layer. Layer, token layer, boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Gotta move you a little bit, honey. Make you a little smaller. Anyway, but this is actually, there we go. That's about right. So as you can see, this map is massive. And this is just one section.
Wow. God, I'm just looking at it and I like getting excited, wanting to play.
Because this isn't even the slums. This is the wharf.
You know, the thing is you really do want Kat as a player. Kat's one of those ideal players because, like, when she plays a game, suddenly the game is the reality, and she'll actually act the role.
Yeah,
There
I
are two
will.
types of players I really like, and the two types of players I really like are the ones that suddenly just they become the character and they really get into it. And I also like the character who is the walking plot complication.
I've never done that. I don't.
No, you can't do that.
No.
But you are. Matt Skull was a walking plot complication in the
But
best way.
in the absolute best.
Oh
way.
no. He didn't mean to be a plot complication. He just was by nature of his being.
You know, he's the guy where we're supposed to be all Splinter Cell stealthy, getting into a place, and instead he marched in like he owned the place, got shot up.
It was well, they shot at me. Well, fuck them. I'm going to shoot him with my rocket launcher.
God.
When it comes to Foundry, I've got Foundry. I haven't ever used it. I've actually got I got Forge something or other, but I've never used it.
I was gonna ask,
Fantasy Grounds.
Have you ever used yeah, what was it? It's something Forge, World Forge.
Oh yeah, I've actually got an account there, and if I start this game up again, I'm gonna have to do stuff like get with everybody and make sure that they have the proper contacts, because in this game, your contacts is everything. I mean, Uncle Leo can hide you from the guard for a month or two if you need it.
I love it. I so want to play that, and I love mob in general. So
one of the best things about tabletop that people seem to have forgotten, it's not the rules, it's the interaction. It's the fact that no computer can generate what the human mind does.
No.
And so, if you walk in and you say, you know what, I'm going to make a deal with this guy, you can't do that in a game.
Yeah. I had a problem with a player because I was pulling out prestige classes and spells and magic items that he'd never heard of. And my wife actually got mad and went, "You realize he's a game designer, right, dumbass?"
Well, like, remember the one time we were playing and Kirsten found out she was a clone?
Yeah.
And, like, she didn't put that in her character. I did.
Yeah.
And she was, like, had almost a meltdown.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She had an absolute meltdown.
When she came into the complex and they were full of people that looked just like her.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's why I'm so skilled. I was designed as a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd fuck with your head.
Like, wait a minute, what?
I think that it's good, though, that sometimes the GM will fuck with the player. You need that because then it can get monotonous. But if you throw a wrench in the works.
See, the first thing is you have to do when you're designing something like that, like this campaign, is you've got to let the players know that you're not going to get a shit ton of magic items. You're not going to, if you've got a spellcaster, number one, magical assault is instant going to the mines. Killing somebody with magic is instant hanging. Their guard are going to look for you, because if you could throw a fireball, they don't want you throwing it into a tavern. So they're going to hunt you down, and the people in the slums are going to turn your ass in, because the war's not that long ago, and they're not going to risk some psychopath. So you got to let the players know, number one, it's going to be low power, but I'm not going to bring Uncle Leo and Aunt Yin are not going to send you at something that you can't handle. The guards will let you run. You can always break and run. Because I always gave the players like an additional plus 5 feet of full run, or I gave them the running feet for free, so they could outrun the guards.
Well, if it's cinematically or narratively better, let it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, after by the time these guys were 5th level, the gangbangers that they were fighting with when they were like 1st and 2nd level, they go walking down the street in the middle of the night. They don't have any weapons; they just got their fists, except for the Orcus, because she was a blackguard. She had her holy weapon, which was an Orcish double axe, and she had a chainmail, which the guard didn't bust her for because she was religious. And she also healed a couple of guards when they were wounded. They'd walk down the alley, and these gangers would just nod to them when they go by, or like one of them would be like, "Hey, check out this dagger I got," because now they're no longer street scum. They're 5th level they can do stuff that these gangers could never imagine. Like dodge out of the way of a fireball.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And some players really liked it.
And I like that because it's good storytelling, and it also shows how things aren't stagnant. Even though yes, you're going up in levels, but a lot of GMs will still keep it that these little street urchins are going to try to kick your ass and stuff.
There should be a level of interactivity and freedom that no computer or video game can give you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Otherwise, why not just play the game?
Yeah, I've always had a problem with I've had this huge problem with some tabletop, like when you use a published module, and I've had a huge problem with computer games. Let's use Fallout 4 for example. Let's use Fallout for example. The bandit has a pipe gun and a leather vest, and you're stomping down the road with a trained sniper, a robotic dog, and a killbot wearing advanced power armor and carrying a Gauss rifle. And 3 of these idiots run out and go, "Give me your money." No, they're going to stay in the bushes and go, "Yeah, let that guy go by."
Yeah.
You know what? Fallout has a habit of having a guy wearing shredded rags and a pipe rifle able to gun you down in one shot when you're fully armored up with a badass gun.
And then there's times, and if I ran a game like that again, it'd be right back to where, when you get a certain reputation, because I use the honor point system, because Pathfinder in one of the books has the Oriental Adventures / Asian Adventures honor point system. And I use a modified one of that for your street rep. And
Nice.
it's not uncommon for the guard to go, "Hey, listen, we got a problem. We're gonna leave the back door open to one of the guard places. We need you to come in, and we need you to steal this particular item out of an evidence lockup, and whatever else you can stuff in a bag." It's like, this isn't going to come to get me. Is it? Well, that nobleman that got busted for smuggling drugs? That's the only piece of evidence the crown has.
Oh.
So you go in and grab it and run. And that's a good one because now you're in with the guards.
Well, that's good because it's also a moral question. Do you do this so you can get in with the guards, or are you a character with morals and these go against your morals, and there's consequences with that. So
and the Kobold Alchemist is like, we got to steal this because this is the guy that I provide the drugs to that deals with all the nobility. And if my mom's going to be pissed if I can't bring in that money.
I always liked your characters because you were the one that would always throw the curveball, and they would throw the scene, throw in a curveball, like you would bribe someone, or you'd cause a scene, or you'd start screaming and yelling and claiming that you were some authority from the city, doing an inspection.
Well, yeah. If you say it with enough authority behind it,
or you'd pull down your top and hit on the guard.
When did I do that?
You did that once.
Did I do that once? Okay.
I had a player
you pulled your cleavage out and you said, "Oh, are you sure you wouldn't open the door for me?"
Oh, okay. I pulled my cleavage. You know what? I know the mission now. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, I always wear my armor. What the fuck? But it's like, no, you're right.
You grabbed your you hooked a finger onto your open your V-top.
Yeah.
You pulled on it. Are you sure you don't want to let me in?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's always a fun one. But I know what? The more I think about it, I know that if Ded was in chat, if she wasn't asleep, she would be jumping up and down and yelling to restart this campaign. My wife loved it. My wife absolutely loved it because, over time you get to meet the characters. Uncle Leo has stuff for you to do. And then once you hit 9th level, Uncle Leo will introduce you to Cousin Ren. And now you're doing stuff, but you never really rise past it. But one thing I insist that that I've had players get mad about is I'm like, no, you have to have a family. For a game like this, you have to have a family. And they're like, well, I don't want to have a family. I want somebody to use them against me. I'm like, well, you can take your murder hobo ass and leave.
An orc killed my family and I want revenge was
Yeah.
always the claim.
Yeah. Then it's like, there's a big war and everybody's just happy to have their family, right? And the other thing I always do is I tell them, look, the guard will kill you. They have swords. They'll kill you. And if you kill a guard, they all come down. And even the people in the slums will throw you under the cart because they don't want the guard going through the houses. So
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
It's bad for business.
Yeah.
You know? Why kill the guards or make them pissed when it's so much more profitable and makes your life so much easier to keep them around and use them?
And Dad was playing the witch, and we had an add-on to Roll20 that was tarot cards, and she'd do, like, every morning she'd do the party's fortune, and it would actually, it would give them benefits and penalties. And one time it was like, if you go outside, you're dead, and so they all stayed home that day and got drunk.
You know what was kind of funny was Andrew's character's bizarre obsession with whenever he'd kill a villain or he'd kill an enemy.
Oh, him taking a trophy?
He'd cut their dicks off and put them in their mouths.
Oh, that, yeah.
Repeatedly. And it's like, Andrew, why? Why, Andrew?
He's like, well,
Yeah.
That really is some high school shit right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I get if you're playing a serial killer, but what?
But the bizarre thing was when I finally gave his character a girlfriend, and he started letting the girlfriend run his life.
Yeah, he did. It was actually really funny.
Well, if you'd love me, you'd spend more money on me. And he did it.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
he
like-
fucking did it.
If you guys playing this, it's going to be stuff like your mother's going to be like, well, the big Mahjong tournament's coming up and it's 150 coppers to buy in. I'm sure that you're such a good boy you can make Mama 150 copper.
Oh.
So I can go to the Mahjong. My wife's like, yeah, I can make you 150 copper, Mom. We'll be right back.
I want to play. I want to play
Yeah.
so bad.
Oh,
I
God.
really do.
What, sweetie? You're taking out petty cash. So, their characters were out running deals and running scams and pickpocketing and fighting just so their mothers could go to the Mahjong tournament.
Well, that's so believable.
That was when they were like first and second level. That shit was great.
Wow.
You liked that campaign, didn't you, babe?
Yes.
Yes. She's like, yes.
Why did she didn't sound very enthusiastic about that.
She doesn't feel good today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's on the edge of bronchitis, so she's,
Oh, poor thing.
blah. But yeah, I mean, Dad loved that game. My wife loved that game, and it's just COVID happened, and we lost contact with everybody.
Oh,
That blows.
damn.
I think another one was when they were playing D&D, and there was they got the players. This was in high school.
Come on.
The players got a portable hole and filled it full of marijuana smoke,
Oh, jeez.
and then they captured a halfling and tossed him in the
The whole.
and like kept him there.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
What? That's funny.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's see, if I was going to run that again, it would be basic book with pureblood orcs and kobolds being allowed.
Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. What is that? That sounds amazing.
You've never
That is a
seen
movie.
Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS?
No.
Oh,
No, remember,
God.
guys, I lived in a hole for like a pop culture hole for a very long time, and it's only been
Oh.
like recently.
Oh, Janelle, you look it up. Look it up.
Okay.
Just look it up.
Yeah.
I will send you a review of it if you would like.
It is
but,
trash and bad taste in the most wonderful way.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I
the
like
best
trash and
of
bad
trash
taste.
and bad taste. It is. Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, and on Google, I just typed in Ilsa, and it popped up with Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS.
Yep.
Yes.
It knew exactly. Oh, it has poor ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna love it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her job to train the captives in a concentration camp to become the what is it?
The Ubermensch women.
Yeah, the Ubermensch women.
Did you run all the way over here just to wag your tail and fart? Yes, you did. yes, you're amazing.
She had
You're an
something
amazing
very
dog.
important to share with you.
Yes, he did.
And every night she took a new lover, and if he didn't please her, he got gelded.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
shit. That sounds like fun. Not the gelding part, just like the movie.
The movie in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
My
what
my
inspired
wife says
Rob
she's in.
Zombie's Werewolf Women of the SS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, my wife said she's in, and I know Dad will jump on it like it's like a start, like a Dad'll just be in. So I guess we can, because I don't work, and well, Kat's the only one that works, and Janelle's got a kid, so we just have to do around their schedules. I need like a week or two to do all the maps back up. But
Just-
yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, just let me know a couple of weeks in advance so I can make sure we have no family events or anything going on.
You
I'll fucking
said
play.
Pathfinder version 1.0,
One.
correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Can you get that digitally? The Pathfinder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Yep.
there
As a matter of fact, there's a wiki.
Is wiki? Okay, perfect.
Okay, because
Nice.
I've never played Pathfinder. This is going to be all brand new for me.
Well, I usually do it by just starting, having you guys engage in a couple of low-level fights where everybody can run away if they have to, and practice using skills a little bit, and then we start introducing the world, and I'll ease you in. I've dealt with plenty of new players before. It's not that you just gotta drop them into the hellscape.
Yeah,
Oh.
for a lot of games, it's like, okay, just show me, what my stats are and what I need to roll at the appropriate time, and I'll figure out the rest. So
Yeah. And plus the Roll20, we've gotten it to the point where you can just click on the skill and it rolls it for you with all the modifiers, and then I keep track of modifiers on a separate sheet.
which
But I mean,
I liked that Roll20's got that.
Dead streams, so you guys can too. It won't bother me at all.
See, it stars Diane Thorne. She's related to Ralts.
So it's the Pathfinder wiki,
1E.
Pathfinder canon?
Yeah, 1E. Yep.
Okay.
And pretty much we'll just go with basic book only. And, well, I don't know. Actually, it would be talk to me because, I might let Dead bring back her witch. And I might let Trista bring back her blackguard. But probably lower levels because that way you guys aren't separated.
Who are
There'll be
these
some
people?
stuff. Trista's my wife, and Dead is my online wife.
Cool.
Yeah, Undead Ramen.
Yeah.
I like her. I like when she's in the chat. I love her comments.
But yeah, we can actually, you might actually have a blast, Ishii, because it would be something where, you could just kick back and act like an ass.
Is that a certain comment about the way I'm behaving tonight?
Nah, you're good tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just combine a little bit of Shadowrun with a little bit of Cyberpunk 2020 and some Thieves World, throw Gangs of New York on top of it, and we'll be good to go. And you guys live in the slums. You don't care about what the kingdom's named. You don't care about who that guy is on the money. Who's the guy on the money? I don't know, some rich guy.
I don't know.
You don't know the
Probably
name
dead.
of the king. Yeah, you don't know the name of the king. King, well, I know who the king is. King of the Dock Ward.
Tualdi wants to know what an online wife is.
An online wife is, okay, my wife loves certain games, but they're single player games. And they're like, she likes Banished and stuff like that. I like games like Payday 2 and Left 4 Dead. And she likes me to play. And basically, an online wife is somebody that plays the video games with you that your wife won't. And
I see.
yeah, it's basically a really good friend that your wife doesn't mind you running around with.
I'm sorry, I'm going through this Pathfinder wiki now.
Yeah, there's all kinds of interesting stuff in there. If we get the witch back, that means there'll be, if Uncle Leo's like, I want you to go do this, the witch will want to go back to her hovel and throw the cards to find out if you guys should do it or not. And the funny thing is, if the cards say this is a really bad idea, and you go back to Uncle Leo and say the witch did the cards and said this is a really bad idea to do today, he'll be like, we shall do it tomorrow. Because everybody, it's a magic world. Why wouldn't he listen to the witch?
So just out of curiosity, do you function better in a magical setting than a technological one?
Either one. I play the fuck out of Rifts.
God, I love that game so much. I have almost every single book.
Star
Really?
Frontiers was another favorite one of mine. Really? Damn, because you got Chaos Earth.
Let me see. I do not think I have Chaos Earth.
Chaos Earth is the shit because that happens. Chaos Earth takes place right when the apocalypse happens.
I have not been able to find that one. I never knew the name of it.
I've got it in hardcover.
The 90s was such a
I'm
cool time for
jealous.
gaming.
Let's see. I've got source book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of our books have been chewed up by rats and have disappeared. We used to have a shit ton more. Like I even have the limited edition Australian Outback.
Oh,
Rifts.
nice.
Yes, I also have Rifts China 1. When the Jade Emperor returns and the Terracotta Army takes over China again, and it becomes literally hell on earth. Like there's the water in China is now foul blood. It's literally become hell on earth. All the demons out of Chinese mythology have taken over China. It's a hellhole, and I've always wanted to play a campaign where you have to get into China.
I've got a Rifts game where it's all the way back at like 93 PA.
Are you which edition or not? Which edition? Which one is it?
It's what I'm running.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's what I'm running. Trista has an experimental Triax robot power armor, and no, wait, Dead has the robot power armor. Trista has an old legacy Silver Eagle from the Coming of the Rifts.
Oh, damn. Okay. Here,
And they provide security on a convoy running through the Vampire Kingdoms area.
I'm gonna undo my cam real quick so you guys can see. Here's the Australia one, where you actually
you've got the original cover.
Yep. And then
that's because she's hardcore.
Yeah.
Rifts China 1 with the Jade King. Yeah. So some of my pride and joy there, guys. Yeah. In fact, my nephew keeps he wants me to go back to Games Empire with him because he found a bunch of the original metal game pieces for Warhammer 40K.
Let me tell you, I was one hell of a mind melter. When I was a mind melter in Rifts, I was the game master fucking hated me. Because he had no idea how terrible telekinesis at 1 ton could be.
I always played a glitter scout, the bouncing scouts for the NGR that had the gliders. Yeah. So, and one time I played, and my glider scout had the personality of a cheerleader. So I was like, "Yay, let's go!" And it would drive my my party nuts because I was just so fucking cheerful all the time.
Well,
that was the whole point.
It was when you're telekinetic and you can move 1 ton. Turning a person's head 180 degrees at 1 ton is not that hard.
No.
Well, you also did things with needles too.
Oh yeah, I kept needles, a handful of needles with me, and I toss them in the air and launch them at 1 ton speed psi.
Oh geez.
But yeah, have fun with that. Yeah, unfortunately, my group didn't play straight Rifts. We didn't get into that.
What did you play?
We played the Elric Melnimide alternate world, but with the Rifts rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're seeing your face, Walter. You sure you want to do that?
Hang on. See if I can get this up there. Hang on. Settings. Let's see. Let's get rid of the virtual background. No,
Nice.
there is she.
Love
Oh, I
it.
love that cover.
We brought the
Tell me that does not say America. Fuck yeah, right there.
Yeah.
I love
fuck
it.
yeah. We brought the author of that game, that supplement on the air.
Did you?
That was Corella, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get him to play.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh,
yeah.
Ralts, do you have Mutants in Orbit?
Yeah, you have to because it has RT4.
I know. I know a lot of people don't have this book. Hold on, I have one more to show you guys. This one's really hard to find. Federation of Magic. It's book 16.
Oh, wow.
You know, that makes me feel bad because I had a house fire.
Same here.
Oh, Ishi, I'm sorry.
Most of my games went up in flames, damn it. It really sucks.
That's what happened to me. Is we had a house fire and I lost stuff from all the way back in the 80s.
In 2001, you remember the big San Diego fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
It was 2003.
Yeah, lost everything.
Oh man.
I remember being evacuated. Steve and I were in between apartments and we moved into my parents' house and the fire came right up into Rancho San Diego and we thought for sure we were going to lose the house. And at the last minute, the wind shifted. But I remember the evacuation
I
and
had
everything.
never seen flames that were like 25 feet tall. That was amazing.
Yeah, they were taller than the
power lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember like I never thought in my entire life that I would see Scripps Ranch in flames. And my dad was still teaching at Scripps Ranch at the time frame. So he wasn't going into work, obviously. Everything had been shut down.
Do you remember no, never mind.
William Sova, yeah. Splicers is another good one from Palladium. War for Tolkien, I have a major problem with. But War for Tolkien was written because Kevin Siembieda does not understand combined arms.
Really?
I recall that being pretty goofy.
Savage Rifts, which is Rifts ported to Savage Worlds. Yeah, but if I'm going to play Rifts, I'm playing it with the original Palladium system because fuck yeah, it's so ridiculous. Scrapers was good.
Ginger, I have Scrapers as well. That's actually one of my favorite books.
What's Scrapers?
Scrapers is a dimensional book. It's dimensional book 4. And it's basically what if the Palladium heroes ended up in Rifts.
Yeah.
So but it's like lots of aliens, and there's a really cool alien species that's live like pure light, and just it's cool. I love it. And
maybe I should play a gray.
You could play a gray.
As a matter of fact, I think that's in one of the dimensional world books. I have to look.
Oh, Ginger's asking what combined arms are.
Combined arms is all the pieces of military function together: air support, artillery support. Everything functions together. And Siembieda fought the Tolkien War like it was World War One.
Oh.
And
the coalition would have stomped their asses.
He made some very basic mistakes that you wouldn't make after the first time a bullet went by you. And I have always argued with him. I used to argue with him on this on the official forums. He stated that because lasers were light, they wouldn't make any noise, right? Yes, I actually have one with Soba.
Not true.
Wow, that's not how it works.
And I argued at the very least, the passage of the laser would heat up the air so it would expand and then collapse. And
like
you'd have a miniature like lightning. And no, because if you use a laser pointer, it doesn't do that. Well, that's not a fucking 4.5 gigawatt laser. That's not man-made lightning. Yeah.
It doesn't ionize the air.
And, I said, one thing I don't like about some of the drawings, I love the UAR1 Enforcer, but all that stuff is exposed. And you can't tell me that hose has the same MDC as the body and tell me that even if I blow it out, nothing's going to happen.
This is going to be a kind of a weird, out of left field comment. But in the first Terminator, the hunter-killer tank, the fact that the lasers made a crack, 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 crack sound, I liked that.
Yes.
Because that was kind of the closest to an actual laser.
That's what it does, yeah.
Because it sounds like a lightning strike.
To me, it sounded like an air vacuum popping.
And he also
Exactly.
said,
Yeah.
well, surgical lasers don't make noise. It's like,
Oh
actually
my God.
they
Are you
make a humming
serious?
noise.
Yeah, they've got a humming noise.
But the thing
Ugh.
is I've talked to people who've dealt with Sambita, and one of them was like, he argued with somebody over whether or not modern motorcycles have a ignition, or if they were all still
What?
kickstart. And the guy took him out and showed him his motorcycle and said, see, it's electric start. You fire it up with a key. You don't kickstart this thing.
Yeah.
And he still wouldn't believe it. I mean,
What?
Kevin Sabita's a madman, and I'm fine with that.
I see.
But you cannot get him to change his mind.
Well, I was going to ask, is it that he will not say he's wrong, or is it just reality is what he says it is, and you cannot change his mind?
I don't know, but I think he's like 70. So
Ah,
You know what, Draco? You're absolutely right, but I think it would still have the same sound effect
mhm.
of similar to lightning, of the air ionizing
Yeah.
and then the air rushing back into fill the vacuum.
Mhm.
But good point. Very good point.
see, and Ginger, that's that whole thing where they were summoning demons, elementals, and golems to outnumber and outpower the coalition. The coalition fought like the biggest bunch of retards on the planet. Okay, anybody Sambita didn't listen to anybody. Sambita wouldn't listen to anyone when it came to the coalition war. And people were like, that's not how a military operates. And it's just it was just so frustrating to read that. And at the time when it came out, I was playing with a bunch of vets, and we read through it, and I was like, so do you want to play through Sambita's version of the coalition war, or are we going to war game this shit out?
Well, the way I see it,
Well,
it
see, that
doesn't
can't
really
be
matter.
true.
It'd be like Rome. It'd be Rome
Yeah, well,
against barbarians.
everybody says the coalition are really close to the biggest retards in the world. That's a fault of his writing, because number one, you cannot, and I have argued this with him over and over, you cannot have a modern military with illiterate troops. You cannot.
Agreed.
And you cannot have a modern industrial nation without at least iconoliteracy. And even then, somebody has to know how to read. People have to know how to read. And Sambita's view of the coalition was very unrealistic. I disagree with it completely. The nice thing
You
is
think they were the Empire from Star Wars.
yes, combination of Nazi Germany and the Empire from Star Wars. Only everybody's illiterate.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
And you can't build a nation as big as the coalition states is, and have everybody be uneducated and illiterate. What you can do is have them be iconoliterate. And the other thing that I argued with this about, back when the forum was originally around, back in like 97, 98, I argued with him on the forums. And I liked arguing with him on the forums, because even if he didn't agree with you, and even if eventually he just said, look, I wrote this, that's how it is, he'd at least listen to you. And I was like, you can't have a nation that big and everybody be illiterate. What they should have done is they should have started doing censoring, where they change the meaning or remove words from the dictionary, because that way, if the people don't know of the concept of rebellion, they can't rebel. And he was like, well, I disagree
he
with
wasn't
you.
a deep thinker.
He was and he wasn't. I mean, his stuff is amazing. I mean, he's just, it's just the way it is. Well, yeah, they supported it. They supported it, but you can't do that. You can't have a modern technological nation. You can't even, when you get right down to it, you can't even have an industrial age. You can't have an industrial age nation with an illiterate populace, which is why, oh God, you're going to get me into how civilizations are built and how nations are built. And why education is your number one resource.
Oh, I agree.
No, well, it's huge. I mean, it's not modern, but you look at the Roman conquest into Britannia and to Gaul.
Yeah.
Those who learned how to read and write Latin suddenly found themselves able to access all sorts of different things with the Romans, put themselves into positions of power, all sorts of different things. So, no, it makes perfect sense. The most important thing is sharing information.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And, it's, that, but yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to crack open the Pathfinder books and build a new setting, come up with new missions, come up with some new, I'm still going to be lazy. I'm going to use Auntie Yin and Uncle Leo because they're great characters. Auntie Yin runs a hookah / mahjong parlor, and Uncle Leo runs a tavern, and those two control most of the crime in the area you guys you start out with, if you guys want to run that.
I'm down.
You run any game you want.
I'm down.
You run the game you feel you want to run, is my opinion.
Are you going to get in on it?
I guess I have to.
I think Cat will knock you down to get at it.
Yeah, I kind of do.
No, I'm totally there. I'd love for you to join. I know.
Take it easy, Sammy Lee.
Isn't your...
Yeah, I know. I'm not a great fantasy player, but I don't care. I'll play with you.
Okay.
And
You can play like Trevor Moore played. Did you guys ever see when the Whitest Kids did their version of D&D? He played a it was a high elf named Buck Futterson. And he was literally just high all the time. He was basically Trevor Moore the whole time. It was hysterical.
We played what was it? Full Metal Fantasy. What was the game?
Oh, we played Iron Kingdoms.
We played Iron Kingdoms as a Bonnie and Clyde couple.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I kind of, if we're gonna do this, it's kind of serious. So there is that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm also, I'm not one of those DMs that do the whole no matter how good you are, everybody else celebrates this other fuckwit. Your initial goal will just be to make it with enough money to feed your brothers and sisters till Monday, and then like at second and third level, your goal is to be like the hero of the neighborhood.
Well, it's been my experience that you can start the characters off as heroes, as badass motherfuckers, but they are in a bad situation. They've got to do this.
And this is kind of fun because it lets you be a little bit of jerks. And that campaign, the only alignment that was off limits was chaotic neutral and chaotic evil. All the other alignments were wide open.
That makes a lot of sense.
The orc was a lawful evil paladin.
And lawful evil, you still have a set of rules and laws that you live by. They just
rules are made for you to flex to come out on top.
Well, like Ishii and I were chatting one day, and something had come up, and he wound up like yelling at the screen, and no, that's not fucking lawful evil. No, that's not this, and just how nobody fucking knows what alignments are anymore. And so we're like, okay. I asked him, I'm like, okay, if we were on the air and you were going to tell people what alignments are, how would you describe lawful evil? And he thought for a second, and he goes, Judge Dredd.
Yeah, the law is the law. No matter how it hurts, there is lawful evil is law without justice.
Mm-hmm. And and also Dredd does some really awful fucking things, but it's the law.
Yeah. Well, Ginger, I didn't like the Siege of Tolkien, and neither did my friends, because we were both part of we were all military. So when we read it, we were like, oh, this is complete garbage. And a lot of people do like it. I just don't, because I don't believe that any nation that can produce power armor has an army that is so stupid they'll fly face first into the ground. He says right before somebody slams a B2 face first into the ground.
Shit.
But yeah, I made it so they were, we just did it differently. But yeah, lots of people. Well, actually, he even went to say that the upper and middle party weren't literate. There was only like a handful of people who were literate. Lawful neutral is
Okay, you
lawful.
guys. Oh, no, go ahead. I was just saying, because you guys keep talking about this, I have busted out my Rifts book to actually read about the coalition. You guys triggered my nerd. That's why I've been
Nice.
so quiet. Sorry, I'm not blowing you guys off. But now, okay, coalition war campaign. All right. Because Siege of Tolkien was when the coalition was like, no, fuck magic, and went after the Federation of Magic, right?
No, that was when they went to Tolkien. Coalition War Machine is the buildup.
Okay. So
You're looking for the Siege of Tolkien books.
That's right. The Federation of Magic are the bad guys. Because Tolkien, isn't that where Aaron Tarn lives? The
No,
supposed narrator?
She lives in Laszlo, in New
Thank you very
Laszlo.
much.
So here's a question, Nishi. What would you want to play?
What's the setting?
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder. You guys live in the slums of a city. The war is winding down or is over. You're not sure which. You're either You're all refugees, and you have your families there. What would you want to play?
Well, it's still setting.
D&D.
D&D.
Yeah.
I would probably play it.
Aaron Tarn's from Toronto.
Yeah. But you'd want to play what, Nishi?
I'd probably either play a thief or a warrior.
So you play a rogue. That would be
one
of
the two. Because you need these skills to kind of get by.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do, Kat?
Oh, my go-to always with D&D is rogue.
Really? I thought you were always the bruiser.
Nope. In D&D, I'm the rogue.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you're the rogue, then I just play warrior.
Yeah.
So we'd have a lawful evil paladin, a rogue, a witch.
And strangely enough, I would actually play a very. I would play probably a good.
No, good people live in the slums, and good people do bad things.
I tend to play very moral characters.
I will admit, the one time I played a something that wasn't a rogue, I did play a priest, but that was to death, so I didn't have any healing abilities.
But you always play these muscle-bound characters with clubs or giant swords that kill the fuck out of people.
No, I do that with like Cyberpunk and other stuff like that, but basically, if there's firearms, yes. If there's no firearms, then I'm a rogue.
Okay, so if there's no firearms, you don't play a muscle-bound bruiser.
No.
I still think you should play muscle-bound bruiser.
Because the muscle-bound bruisers are the ones that all the monsters go and attack first. So that gives me the opportunity to go elsewhere.
You can always play a monk.
I can play a monk.
I mean, that's really good for your back alley street fighting.
That's what I usually play. Is either a cleric or a monk.
I like the idea of playing a monk.
Pit fighter.
I could do a monk. Pit fighters, yeah, that's good too. Let me take a look at the Pathfinder because it's actually been forever since I looked at the book, and I don't actually own it. So
no, I wouldn't play a rogue. I think I'll play a thief. I will play a thief.
You're gonna play a thief,
but that means I'd have to be chaotic good because a thief, you steal shit. You can't be lawful good.
Well, are you the kind that just pickpockets random people in the slums? Are you the kind that Uncle Leo goes, listen, I need you to crawl up to the 3rd floor and go in through the red cased window and get in there and open that jewelry box. And I need you to get one of her earrings and then come back. And then I'm going to tell you where you're going to go. And you're going to climb in this next room. And I want you to put the earring in between the wall and the bed.
Yeah, it'd have to be that's the kind of thief I'd have to play to get by.
Like something that you would like to do.
Yeah, that's definitely I'd play a thief.
Okay, you play the thief then, and I'm liking the idea of monk, but I'm also, somebody said pit fighter, and that just made me think of the back alley bare knuckles.
Yeah, that's a monk. That's a monk.
You always play the muscle.
Okay, then that's what I'll do. I'll play the monk.
Okay, well, can there be 2 monks? Because I usually either play a monk or a cleric.
I'm cool.
I'm asking Ralts, what do you want
look,
me to do?
I don't care if you guys play something as long as everybody agrees to get along, so there's no inter-party conflict because everybody else is out to get you. I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind if there's 2 monks because monks make sense because we're gonna have a lawful evil paladin and a witch and a thief and a thief and
A
2.
lawful evil paladin?
Yeah.
That's pretty terrifying, actually.
Well, she still worships the god of orcs.
Ah,
But the god of orcs is undergoing a change and telling his people, look, living in the forest and eating rotten meat is for suckers, and that's why we all got our ass kicked during the war. So my people will now move to the city, and you will learn to adapt to the city ways, or I will strike you with lightning.
Hey, you guys, I'll do the cleric because I'm reading in Pathfinder that they're warrior priests. So there's your muscle. I'll do the cleric.
Cool. Cleric,
Where did
monk,
people get the
thief.
idea that clerics weren't warrior priests? Because in first edition they wore plate mail and carried big ass maces and shields and bashed in the heretic's head.
Because when I played
warrior
D&D,
cleric.
when I was a cleric, I was literally a full-blown priest that couldn't fight. I just had to keep praying to the god the whole time.
that sucks.
What kind of shit is that?
I don't know. Apparently, I played with a lot of shitty GMs and players, and I didn't
think
have the good
so.
experiences. Like I told you, they were all anal.
Yeah.
Oh God, and I've run straight first edition. I cut my teeth on first edition and the little brown booklets.
See, that's awesome.
See, my husband used to have the first edition orange hardcovers.
Oh yeah, those
of
are the good
D&D,
ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, the thing is I don't ask. I'm not going to ask you guys. Oh, you have to play amoral assholes. No, I mean, yes, actually, Harvey hit it on the nose. Grummish has decided we will beat the humans at their own game, invade the city, and work hard for profit. Grummish commands it.
There it is.
And hell, Ishi, then you've got, what race would you want to play?
Yeah, that would be a good question.
Human, half elf, elf. Elf would be a little tough because you're an elf in the slums, which obviously means your family.
I'd just play a human.
Human's good.
It'd be a filthy human.
Oh my god. I just found the greatest. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but for a cleric, Kobold Devil Speaker.
Wow.
No. Nice wish. No.
Of course, the one I choose is a no.
No. Not with what's going on in that city. No.
Okay, I just saw that Kobold Devil Speaker. I was like, holy shit, that sounds
And
rad.
I think that's a first edition or a third party product.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I will still look for a god.
But yeah,
And
Cat's
there's
gonna play
so
a monk.
much.
Yep.
See, that way you've got your muscle, you've got your guy who can get in and out. See, it's all coming together.
Yeah, we're well rounded.
Because the nice thing about a monk is if the guard rousts you, the most you have is a pair of brass knuckles, and the guard don't care about that.
Oh, that's cool.
Where Ishi would have to be really careful and not carry knives.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. And this is an honest question. When you say things like knives and stuff like that, are you talking like metal, or is bone or wood okay?
Anything that the guard thinks they can roust you for.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, shit, I can, I can revitalize that city. I can rebuild it. Yeah, I could actually do this. And I've been meaning to get back into playing because it really stirs the imagination.
Oh, cool.
If she'd be like Uncle Leo telling him, I need you to steal this with your friends. Don't break it. Don't kill anyone, and don't get caught.
Will you accept 2 out of 3, sir?
Yeah. Well, we lost them in the wrecked part of the slums. Do they see your face? No. Then we're good.
Then that's okay. Oh. That's foul. Make it go away.
I'm
Sorry.
trying to.
Oh.
She's
Just scrolling through DA, looking at garbage.
and
Oh.
some really nasty. There was a bad kitty on the screen,
Ah.
so like did not need to see that.
You know, and I even do stuff like, you know, you get to go out and fight. You know, like your monk would be able to fight behind the bar, and of course, your mom and all of her friends are going to be there to cheer you on.
Well, yeah. You know, heck, you know, this belt, my mom made it for me. It's
My
my lucky
mom made
belt.
this belt. It's my lucky belt, and I'm going to beat your ass.
You better not be dissing my mama's belt.
Wow, we've been on for almost 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, on New Year's Eve, we were on for 4.
Yeah,
I know.
actually, we were on for 5.
Oh, after Ishi and I left?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just kept
nice.
we just kept blathering.
Well, you guys talked a lot about your writing, right?
Yeah, I actually talked.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah.
Chest.
No. You got a cough. It's
First
okay.
edition rule books. Let's see. I think I've got it somewhere, but let me double check. What's on sale? 2 are unavailable. Which 2? I think I got them. Ultimate Magic and Ultimate Equipment. Yeah, I got those on sale. Anything I need? Got that. 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 Okay. Just double checking.
So, is the place Golarian?
No. That is the Pathfinder setting, and it's okay, I guess.
I
No,
actually
no, no.
prefer
The reason
it.
I'm asking is I'm trying to find what god to worship in your world or your setting.
Oh
And I
no,
don't want to
just
go outside of your setting.
I would
No,
say
just-
the god of leather pants.
just pick something and just pick. You know, we'd figure it out. We'd hash that out later, because
The god of David Bowie.
Okay.
The god of Bowie or Bowie?
David Bowie, yeah.
Actually, that'd be cool to have my god be David Bowie.
Well,
don't know if I'd go there.
Well, it's like George Carlin. You know, he says that he's a sun worshiper, but he prays to Joe Pesci.
Yeah, there you go. The god
Yeah.
of Joe. Yeah, the god is your god is Joe Pesci.
You know why? Because Joe Pesci will get shit done, and that's why he prays to him. Like, I love that.
Yep, I've got martial arts handbooks somewhere. So the good fighting styles for monks. Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, if you guys want to do this, I'm gonna need like 2 or 3 weeks to do the maps.
Oh, that makes sense.
Look, you've already got me. I'm already on like 2 different tabs on my phone, one
Oh.
on the computer. Like, I'm already creating my character.
I'll be honest, I would be doing the exact same thing Janelle is doing right now, except for the fact that my phone and my computer are in the other room. So, you know, I can't really reach.
Yeah,
I
I
drank
take
sake.
character creation seriously. Like,
I
that's
don't-
why
yeah.
I'm gone.
I don't really do I don't really do the meta comedy like a lot of these guys do. I do the more along the line is we develop stuff in game that's funny, but because I'm one of those serious DMs. I hate to say it.
Right, that's fine.
That's fine.
I don't know.
some
I
people
think
don't like
these
that.
hipster stuff is kind of shit anyway.
No, I agree.
Well, even if you're serious, though, you still think outside the box and you give us a good adventure and you're a fantastic storyteller. And that's what is needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So don't sweat that, because I'm quite excited about this.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can
sorry.
tell, yeah.
Like I said, I went full nerd.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been there.
Oh,
And
you
I
just want to
couldn't
play
find anything
Dazzler.
I was looking in Coalition War Campaign, but I couldn't find anything about their literacy. But yeah, I always thought that they kept the people illiterate too. That was like a
Yeah,
thing.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so-
mention it in the core rulebook. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to rebuild the slums because I don't have the map for the slums anymore, so I have to rebuild that, which is fine. I'll probably make it a little bigger.
What were you asking?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No, what?
Yeah,
I was going to say, how do you have hackers in the coalition if they're all illiterate?
That's just it. They don't.
They use emojis.
But
Yeah.
but there's a class for hackers.
Yeah. and you
Well,
have
how do
like
you have
technical.
pilots?
Yeah, and then you have technical officers, and it's like, wait a minute, how does any of this work? And well, they can read. They can read. They can read, and it's like, you said they were illiterate. No, you just told me they were illiterate.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can go for this. I mean, it'll be kind of fun. Remember, you guys have. You know what? We'll get together. We'll have to get together so that I can walk you through the background generation and what kind of gear you have, because the gear that's in there, the gear that's in the book, you guys aren't really going to have, because it's like, oh, you can buy a sword for 15 silver piece. Well, yeah, if you want the guard to take it, then beat you with it.
I'd want a silver dagger and an iron dagger.
And those two are going to be very well hidden.
Yeah, up my anus.
The old prison pocket.
Exactly.
Well, actually, you could, very easily have it be like the clasp on your cloak.
Yeah.
That's a knife. If your hair is long and you have something in your hair, male or female, doesn't matter. That's a knife.
Yep. Neck. It looks like a necklace, but you've got the dagger sheath right at the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does your wife's character worship Gorum?
No, Grummish. No, actually,
Grummish?
yeah. Grummish, Gorum, Kargus. It's just the Orcish god.
Okay, guys,
No,
I'm kind of fading here, but if you two want to continue.
Actually,
no,
I'm
you know
getting
what?
dinner.
I should actually go study my character.
Oh God, you're already into this.
Yes.
Janelle, give me an email. Why don't you guys give me an email sometime this week, and we can sit down and shit. You can even broadcast it. We'll do the sit down
Sure,
and
why
figure
not?
out who gets what. Who does what, who's going to do what.
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Broadcast character gen. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because people like character generation.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can just go ahead and do that, because I don't even have to have the map ready to do that.
I'd love
And
that.
hey,
And I'll do it from Ishi will do it from his computer, and I'll do it from mine. That way I can share my screen and show what the character sheet
And
looks
before
like.
we go, one more time, Raltz has just released a new book. So if you guys have been following his work, now's the time to jump in.
Book 8's out, so. And you don't have to worry about me pulling a George R.R. Martin on you and not finishing it, because I'm actually finishing up the series right now, and it looks like it's going to top out at about 1,000 chapters.
Nice.
What, baby?
Yes. So he's a man with a plan. It will get done.
Yeah, it's the war is winding down.
Nice.
So yeah, you don't have to worry that I'm going to stretch this shit out forever either. It comes to an end.
I love when authors do that, when they actually have a plan in their head and they know when to stop.
Well, I'm going to be thoroughly honest with you. I've fallen into the trap of sake, which is sake is like water until it isn't.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
And so I've had a little more than I planned.
All right.
Kat's laughing her ass at me. Well, look, it's been like a month and a half since I've had sake.
I know.
So I've drank a little more than I intended. So I'm going to go lay down now.
Okay.
Hey, you drive and then turn the computer off.
Will do.
Get some sleep. Get some sleep, Ishi. I'll talk to you later.
Good night, Ishi.
Okay. They say good night. Okay.
You're gonna go too?
I'll be honest. I've had for shit the last couple of this almost last week, but the last few days have been absolutely for shit. For a really stupid reason. Okay, wait. I'm gonna share my story so that you can learn from me. Okay.
All right.
Last Monday, I had to take my car in. No, Tuesday, I had to take my car in for oil change. And I know it's a 20-year-old car. It's going to have problems, right?
Right.
Guy comes back, long story short, and $3,000 later, I've got new struts.
Went in for an oil change, came out with new struts.
Yes.
Holy shit.
He threw in the oil change for free. Nice guy. But I got new struts, got new axles too. And And it's like, okay, fine. And he said, by the way, your battery is leaking and dying because I'm in a desert. That happens here, apparently. And I'm like, I'm not. And he showed me how much it would cost to change the battery. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay $300 for something that I can do myself for 70. So I said, no, I'll take care of it. And I took it home. Was going to get it done Saturday to get the new battery because it was the only time I had time. Now, before going to drive it out, the key fob for my car fell apart. And it fell apart about 4 years ago. And so I was holding it together with a 2-part epoxy. And it finally broke again. And I said, yeah. And so I bought a case for it, a clamshell for it instead. I go to start the car won't turn over. This makes all the right sounds, the lights go and everything, but the car won't go. Do everything I can, try to jump it myself, still won't go. Finally had to call a guy, he wound up switching the battery for me. Car still won't go. Had to have it towed to the mechanic, and it was sitting there for the last 2 days with me going, my God, what the fuck is wrong with my car? This is what the hell is wrong? I get a call from the guy this morning. He goes, you changed the key fob. I'm like, yes, I did. Cause he had to try to start the car with my key fob in tatters. And he goes, did you keep your old clamshell? I go, I did. Why? And he says, there's a chip in there.
Oh shit. Oops.
There's a chip in my goddamn key fob. And so I walked to the mechanic. Luckily, he was only 1.5 miles away. And, sure enough, that was what was fucking wrong with it. So I could have had my car the last 2 days.
Man.
Yesterday, I'm sitting there going, I just dropped $3,000 on this thing. And now it's in the shop again. What the fuck am I going to do? And it was just this goddamn key fob.
Jesus.
So learn from me. If you have a modern car that was made 2000 or newer, there's a fucking chip in your key fob. So, and apparently that is a problem where people will replace the clamshells to their keys and they'll throw them away and then they don't have the chip in them anymore. So learn from me. So I'm kind of racked. I actually stayed sober this because I didn't want to get drunk for this cast. I wanted to enjoy my friends. But now I think I'm going to go to bed.
This whole thing made me feel a lot better.
Oh, really?
I was wiped out by the time I got home. I was mad. My whole leg is on fire, and I think it's going to snow because one of the old brakes is hurting. It's either when it snows or I walked on it too much, one of the two.
Oh, geez.
But being in here was great.
Oh, good. And I'm can you ice up your leg or, do something for it?
No, because then the pins hurt.
Oh. Well,
when pins get cold, you hate life.
Oh. Well, definitely, everybody have a wonderful evening.
Yes,
Janelle,
I'm so excited about this game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Me too.
I am too. Janelle, if you want to stay, we can go over a couple things. I mean, and then I'll get with you.
I'll leave it open for you guys.
You know what, guys? I haven't etten dinner yet.
Oh, okay. We need to all get together so I can go over some stuff, and I'll get with Dad and I'll get with Trista so we can so everybody can meet each other, and we'll go over what we want to do, because it sounds like we got a good balanced party. Witch, lawful evil paladin of Kargast, priest of who knows what, depends on what race you take, monk, and thief. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Hell
I think
yeah.
we're doing really well with that.
I kind of want to base my priest off the crazy priest from Flesh and Blood.
Not recognize that.
Oh, okay. Paul Verhoeven. It was Rutger Hauer and Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's the movie that inspired Muria to make Berserk. So, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to be studying.
Yes.
Ralt, I may be sending you messages through Steam then.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.